for Patrick Mahomes in a Chiefs uniform, and it's because he's got this defense.
And honestly, some of it is just as simple as like, if they ever click offensively, we're going to think that they look like the 49ers. Just, like that team you saw last night, that's a top 5 defense and a top 5 offense. It's actually the league's best defense right now and the league's second best scoring offense right now. If the Chiefs get going offensively, that's how they're going to feel. Except for they'll have Patrick Mahomes and not Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy's been very good. That's not to be a knock, but there is a tangible difference between those two quarterbacks in their play. Meanwhile, nationally, the talking point, a little bit different. The soundtrack of the loser. You know what that is? The soundtrack of losers across the world. Referees. Should have listened to our guy Vinny last week. He tried to make it clear how you should feel if you are the fan of a team who makes this all about the referees and how they screwed you. He made it clear last week that that's not the way you should feel. The game was not officiated great. They 1,000% missed the personal foul call on L'Jarius Sneed. The Chiefs would have been further back. The Vikings would have been a little closer on the subsequent drive. But they have no one to blame but themselves. They didn't have any damn time because their coach was burning through timeouts like he was going to lose them.
A terrible challenge, in particular, on the Travis Kelce catch that he thought was a fumble. A lot of mistakes. You're right, though. It is kind of the loser soundtrack. There's no doubt that at times teams throughout any run of winning football games, in this case, are going to have calls that go their way. Teams get breaks. It's just all magnified because you know what happens when the Chiefs do get a break in a game because they're a good football team? You know what they do, Cody? They take advantage of said break. You know what we don't hear about? The teams that are 2 and 3 right now getting calls that benefit them because they're 2 and 3 football teams and they aren't good enough.
Sean Payton yesterday said, we should be 4 and 1
to take advantage of those mistakes that are made. That's why it's magnified. When you give the Chiefs, you crack the door a little bit, whether it is a dumb decision by an opposing head coach, whether it is a missed call by an official, which of course happens. Nobody's saying the missed calls don't happen in Chiefs games. Of course they do. But they actually take advantage of them. So then everybody thinks it's set up and it's rigged against them. You said it last week as well, and I think everybody were listening here that grew up in Kansas City, that grew up as the Chiefs maybe being their childhood teams that they rooted for. You've waited a very long time to be in a position where your team is the team that everybody thinks the refs love. Never did I think I'd be sitting here ever that a team that I grew up going to games to when I was 6 years old, that team now would be the team that everybody thinks gets all the calls, that the refs love, that the league loves. You know what's happening? It's because they're winning a ton of football games.
Correct.
And they're making history, and they're in the middle of what is soon to be an incredible dynasty. That's why everybody hates you. So maybe we need to get our guys at Ray Gun to make the shirt. We need some Embrace the Hate type of T-shirts to have happen here in Kansas City, because that's what we all need to do. Embrace the hate. It's certainly not changing anytime soon.
Your team can go and draft a franchise-altering, league-altering quarterback, and then your tight end can date a superstar. It's not that complicated. Even if you want to put it on there, it's not that there's a secret out. Let's just say that for your advantage. And I do think that there are advantages of being a very good team and sometimes getting favorable calls as a result of that. Let's just say you can do that. No one is stopping you from trying to get, right, Tom Brady, or trying to get Patrick Mahomes, or trying to get any of the other great quarterbacks who you seemingly think have gotten favorable calls. The thing I'll say about this game is it was just poorly officiated. You can't ignore the first half stuff. There was a call on Justin Jefferson for pass interference in which he tripped over his own damn
He lost balance.
feet.
He lost balance.
Yeah, it wasn't the Chiefs' fault, but did they get burned on it? Yeah. Okay. Did we all lose our mind? I didn't think it was a good call, but it is what it is. That last pass interference call, I will argue to my grave that was right. Neither person was trying to get the ball. That ball was 25 yards to the left. If for some reason the wide receiver is anywhere near that ball, they probably give him the call.
Yeah, look, they were fortunate that the flag got picked up, but let's not act like we've never seen that happen before, right, Cody? I mean, even earlier in the game when Mahomes, 3rd and long, right, underthrows a ball severely, and they get the call. We see that happen a dozen times every NFL weekend.
Correct.
I don't like the rule either, right, where you can just underthrow a football and basically get the PI call. It happens every weekend in the NFL. I saw a lot, nationally, like, oh, the Chiefs are the luckiest team in the league. First of all, one, you'd rather be lucky than losing football games, but also
you don't get the 5 straight.
But exactly, and also like on the third and long, Patrick Mahomes has been way too consistent with converting third and long since he's been in a Chiefs uniform that you can't tell me it's just luck. Between Andy Reid, Mahomes, Kelsey,
he's got a horseshoe up his ass. He's the luckiest human being on earth.
Go back a couple years when they still had Tyreek Hill. He has always converted third and longs that you're like, how did he do that? It's the skill set more than it is just the luck. But yeah, I mean, this is the territory you're in now if you're the Chiefs as a fan, and you got to embrace it. It's not going to change. On Thursday night against the Broncos, hopefully it's just a blowout, but there will be a call, and everybody will say the Chiefs are lucky. Embrace it. They take advantage of mistakes by other teams. Crappy football teams that win 9 games a year.
They get to bitch about the refs.
They complain about it because they're not good enough to actually take advantage of said calls.
I mean, it's been a while since I felt like, from the national media too, I've never seen a big bunch of crybabies just say, oh, Dov Kleiman, like, I can't believe it. The whole crew, they're also deeply offended that L'Jarius Sneed wasn't called for it. The Vikings blew so many chances in that game. I got to be honest with you. I don't think the result was going to be any different had they called L'Jarius Sneed for that penalty. Yeah, all right, they missed one. The PI call was fine. There were other missed calls in the game.
He should have been flagged for the helmet off.
Yes, of course he should have.
The issue with that is the Chiefs still would have had the football. I mean, it should have been called, yes, but I think there was like just lack of knowledge with the call. How many people thought that was a call that would have given the Vikings the ball? The Chiefs still would have had the football.
The broadcast crew seemed to think that for a minute.
If L'Jarius Sneed was called for it, and he should have been, right? The ref told he should have been called for it. If he was called for taking his helmet off, the Chiefs still would have had the football. And everybody's like, well, the Chiefs would have had a punt with. Well, maybe they call it differently as well. This automatic assumption that it would directly have led to a Vikings tie game or lead or whatever is also like this is. I keep saying, embrace the hate. We got to get used to it, man.
I feel like the biggest thing though about that is it was the principle, whether it affected the result or not. It's like
he should be called.
It is black and white in the rule book. He took his helmet off. And the official said, hey, put your helmet back on. It's not like a...
Yeah, but I mean, it's also black and white in the rule book. Like, lots of penalties don't get called. The ref just missed it. The ref was worried about... They were in a very serious conversation about whether to call a critical penalty at a critical moment. So a human being didn't think about the fact that that's a penalty. He was just like, hey, man, put your helmet back on. Like, he didn't think about the fact that it was a penalty. Missed calls happen all the time. This kind of missed calls happen all the time. Like, it is consistent. There's no question about it. There's no mystery in it. It was a missed call, but there were several missed calls in the game. It's always. Calls like this are always the soundtrack of the loser. Consistently, this is the case. And I know it's probably hard if you are rooting for another fan of another team and you feel like they always get the benefit. And so we've probably pointed out a bunch of times, just real quick, the Chiefs are one of the most penalized teams in the entire NFL. Pretty regularly, by the way. They've never rated particularly well. We've brought this up on this show before in previous years. I don't think they're getting the beneficiary of every call like you do.
The Chiefs are the third most penalized team since Patrick Mahomes became the starting quarterback. Since 2018. Now, there were a lot the one drive yesterday, 4 straight defensive penalties, right? They're just dumb decisions across the board.
And at least 3 of the 4 of those were absolutely penalties.
But the point is,
the Trent McDuffie pass interference and the hands of the face.
This narrative of Mahomes getting breaks, and yet again, the Chiefs are the third most penalized team since Patrick Mahomes became a starter in 2018. And again,
probably speaks to Andy a little bit there.
It does, but it's also just what happens when you start winning. I mean, I'll admit, I think we were all probably doing this when Tom Brady was out there on his run with the Patriots. We all probably felt it like the Patriots got calls a lot of times because Tom Brady took it. Like I said, Tom Brady took advantage of those.
Because every time he got the penalty, it ended up being a touchdown.
They ended up winning on the next play, essentially.
When
right?
Chris Jones hit him, and there was the unsportsmanlike conduct in the 2018 one, the one you're talking about, they went down and scored a touchdown. They didn't stop him for a field goal.
So this just comes with the territory. We just gotta. It's a switch. It's a different mindset. We got to get used to it. It's not gonna change.
It's great on this end.
Oh yeah. Oh, rather be right here with people claiming you're getting all the calls. Again, we never in a million years would I have dreamed that this would be the case here for a Kansas City team, that we'd be saying, at least nationally, they'd be saying the Chiefs are getting the breaks.
Part of the reason I think this penalty ends up being so thing is because I was a little frustrated. Yeah, in the win, look, we can still be frustrated at things. I thought for a minute he had me, Gold. I thought Andy was going to go hyper aggressive for one game. I saw that man go for a 4th down, Patrick Mahomes, 4th and 1. Patrick Mahomes chucking it 35 yards down the field to get a pass interference call for MVS. I was like, okay, we're going for it again. Seal the game time. 4th and 1 around midfield. Let's do it. And instead, just moved everybody around, flexed Mahomes out, did a million things to try to convince him that maybe they were going to go for it, and instead punt. I'm kind of sad. I want Andy to go full aggression, especially right now while their offense isn't going 100%. Take advantages of these micro chances to be aggressive because your offense is still trying to find itself a little bit. I was sad when he didn't go for that 4th down, man. I really thought they should have.
I wanted them to as well, and then they came back out there, right, and tried to draw him off sides by then having Mahomes act like he was walking off the field and then suddenly act like he was lining up at wide receiver and all that for not. They took the delay of game penalty. I think that's one complaint that you're probably always going to have. I think some point, he is a coach schematically is adapted as well as anybody in NFL history. Yeah. Andy Reid has. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, I just don't.
It's like this and QB sneaks, man. It's two things he's not going to take advantage of.
I feel like that's where it's going to go. And unfortunately, it just was also coupled in that decision, Cody, where Tommy Townsend, who has been fantastic this year, that might have been his worst punt of the season.
But that's the risk. When you're punting that close, the ball goes into the end zone, you gain no field position. The Vikings had the field position back in 2 plays.
They did. My guess is Andy's response would be to some extent as well. That
still won.
Well, besides they still won, they trust the defense. The way the defense was playing, Matt, he'd rather make the Vikings go the length of the field. Yes, they ended up getting the yardage back, but that, hey, they felt like your defense was going to be able to hold up enough to be in position to win that football game.
Someone says he's only hyper-aggressive against good teams. I mean, the Vikings aren't – I know they're 1-4, but we can admit that there's a ranking system of differences between 1-4 teams. That the 1-4 Broncos are different than the 1-4 Vikings. One of these teams has been – at least semi-competitive for a number of their games, and one of those teams keeps getting its ass kicked because it can't stop anybody defensively. But I feel like that was a really good opportunity. When they lined up, I thought, okay, you were successful the first time. It's 1 yard against a mediocre run defense. I know you just got stopped in 3rd and 1, but you can end the game. Like, to me, you win the game. You get that first down, and this game is over. You don't have to wonder whether or not the Vikings can drive the length of the field with 1:10 and no timeouts. You don't have to question it. You can just go. And look, because of the controversial call we talked about here at the end of the game that other fans are complaining about, you were that close from having to have that made to matter, right? That close, that thin of a margin. That's also why you kind of want them to go for it. The margin of victory is always thin in the NFL.
I wonder now, though, because now that's on film, that at some point this year, they're going for it, right? They are. Same thing.
Somebody said that they didn't even mark up Mahomes. He's just standing over there wide open.
Now there's film of Mahomes pretending to walk off the field, then lining up a wide receiver, and they let the clock expire. At some point, right?
Snap it.
At some point, you're snapping it. I don't know if it's happening in the regular season.
It might be 2 years from now, but yeah, probably.
It might be in the divisional round of the post. I don't know. At some point, though, there's another wrinkle to that. It involves them actually snapping the football.
Most likely, I would say that that's the case. Were you did you want him to go for it there, or were you fine with the punt?
Absolutely, I wanted them to go for it there. And I actually, for a half second, thought they really were going to.
They kept moving. The second Mahomes went out wide, I'm like, it's done.
But then he lined up.
I know, but the second it was too much funny business. The second he started lining up, you're like, all right, they're not going for this.
At some point, though, I think you do it, and you're going to catch somebody off guard.
I almost feel like him going for it would have showed that he trusted the defense even more than if he punted it. Because if you go for it and you miss it, I mean, they only had they were on. They weren't even in plus territory yet. They were on like the 48 or something like that. So,
but again, they got that in 2 plays and 22 seconds.
Right.
Like the point is that it's not hard for an offense that is that good. You bury the ball in the end zone, which is going to happen 50-50, I would say, from probably that distance because it's a weird, awkward in-between distance for a punter. 50-50 shot, you bury that thing in the end zone. I mean, it just didn't take much. They still do have offensive talent. The only benefit there is they didn't have Justin Jefferson that late in the game. And if he's telling himself they got to go the entire length of the field with no Justin Jefferson in our defense, if he tells me he did that because he has faith in their defense, this is one of the few times in the entire run for the Chiefs that I would be like, I respect your decision to have faith in the defense. They have been very good all year.
Coming up next, there wasn't the big game, but there was still improvement in this area. And this time around, maybe the Swifties can help the NFL. We'll explain next.
Cody and Gold.
People always call us like a bleak show. The idea of you having to come on the air the next day and being like, Cody died in that blimp crash is hilarious to me. That's objectively funny.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
It's touchdown Kansas City when you sell your home to Rex at RexBuysKC.com. The champions when it comes to buying homes in Kansas City.
That's right, Mitch. We'll pay more for any home. No hassles or strings attached. We'll buy your home as is for quick, instant cash in only 7 days.
Every home seller scores more with Rex. Rex and his team buy homes for any reason. Bankruptcy, foreclosure, probate, damaged or vacant homes, as is, and you rush away with instant cash.
Homeowners, don't get sacked with a poor financial decision. Call me, Rex, now at 816-330-6000. Fair and honest prices because we know bad things can happen to good people.
Tackled by big home improvement costs, roofs, plumbing, exteriors cost you thousands. Pocket that money and walk away debt and worry free.
Before you sign to sell, call me at 816-330-6000 or online at rexbuyskc.com.
Call the champions, Rex Buys Houses at 816-330-6000 or online at rexbuyskc.com.
Made to shine. Real stories from Shane Company customers.
My aunt lives in Long Island. Growing up, we were really close. She's always been really accepting and very supportive. She's a little sassy and even rides a motorcycle. This year, I really wanted to do something special for her and let her know how much she means to me. So for her birthday, I got her a bracelet and I had it engraved with our initials to represent our bond. She loves it.
Remind someone how special they are with a personalized gift. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
Hey guys, Beat Up here from Fesco in the Morning, and you know I am struggling with my weight, and Slim for Life has been a game changer. They've created a customized plan for me, and it is working to a T so far, down 77 pounds in just over 100 days. Success is the best motivator, and Cynthia's results are amazing. Cynthia, tell me about your Slim for Life journey.
I lost 72 pounds. I went from a 16-18 to a size 0. I lost 18 pant sizes. And I lost 42.7 inches of body fat. That's a lot of body fat.
I'm doing it. Cynthia did it, and you can too. In fact, you can be down 20 pounds or more your first month, and it's guaranteed. You just need to take the first step. Right now, they have an amazing special. This week, only Friends and Family sale, their lowest prices of the year, with the option to add semaglutide medications to your plan for only $99 your first 4 weeks. 833-SLIM today. That's the number you need to call. 833-754-6863. Or you can hit them online at slim4life.com. And when you schedule that free consultation, you can win tickets to see our defending Super Bowl champions play on October 22nd. All services included, exclusive of products. Make the call. Tell them Beat Up sent ya.
When it comes to beef, nothing tops world-class highly marbled Wagyu. Booth Creek's Wagyu Meat Market is now open in Overland Park, and it is time to elevate your beef. Their farm-to-fork commitment brings this intensely rich and flavorful beef from the tall grass prairies north of Manhattan, Kansas, directly to your table. Come into what our customers are calling the jewelry store of beef and taste the difference. Our in-store experts are sampling freshly seared Wagyu 7 days a week, located in the shops at Deer Creek Woods, 135th and Metcalf.
Mobile Wave is your solution for all cell phone, tablet, iPad, and computer repairs, including Mac PCs. Diagnostic fees are waived for all first-time customers located in Lenexa. Online at mobilewaverepairs.com. Mobile Wave, quick repairs, premium quality, affordable.
Listen up. This is so easy. Do you want the most money for your used car? Do you want a hassle-free process? Of course you do. Give Me the VIN is A+ rated by the BBB. That's Better Business Bureau, baby, and thousands of online reviews. Give Me the VIN will beat your written CarMax offer or write you a check for $100. It's that simple. Get the most money for your used car right now at GiveMeTheVIN.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
When my daughter gets a cold, I have a secret weapon. DayQuil Kids Berry from Vicks. DayQuil Kids is specially formulated to treat kids' most bothersome cold and cough symptoms quickly. And the best part is that DayQuil Kids Berry tastes really great. Aren't you supposed to be resting? Maybe.
DayQuil Kids Berry. The kids' berrylicious daytime congestion, coughing, stuffy head, stuffy nose, just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6 years plus.
It's time to roll out the red carpet for, well, new carpet. There's no better time than right now at the Home Depot, where the more you buy, the more you save. Save up to 15% on select special order carpet styles you love from brands you trust. And installation is included on qualifying purchases. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Offer valid October 12th through October 29th. Receive up to 15% off select special order carpet purchases. Minimum purchase required. Exclusions apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
Hey, you. The one on the couch who just told your friend you can't go out because you're busy? Ready to get real about your psoriasis? When your current treatments don't do enough to help control the inflammation beneath the skin, causing plaques and pain, stressing and scratching, it's time to stop hiding and get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Klein Tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brands and quality products, and Klein Tools delivers. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece ModBox mobile workstation for $319.94 and the Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set for just $34.97, both exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brand at Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, and this is my show. What, you expecting something different? Whether you're looking for deep, insightful dives into the day's top sports stories, that's why we have guests, right, Nigel? Or simply how to get change for 100, you'll find it on the Tony Kornheiser Show. From football picks from the best prognosticators in the business, including a monkey, to real-time baseball playoff analysis, to traffic in an area where you don't live. We got you covered. My friends come on, and you know them. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Arvest Bank, proud supporter of your Kansas City Chiefs radio network. Arvest Bank, proud supporter of your Kansas City Chiefs radio network. Stop by any Arvest branch to find out why banking with Arvest and the Arvest Go mobile app makes life easier. Arvest Bank, proud to be here game day. Let's do this.
Takes the snap, rush to the outside, pass, caught on a slam, touchdown! Kansas City, Rashee Rice with his second catch of the drive. The wide receivers show up big time.
Mitch Holthus on the call over on 106.5 The Wolf. That put the Chiefs up 20-13 in the third quarter. Rashee Rice with another touchdown in his rookie campaign. We'll get to the trash of the day here in about 15 minutes or so, but the wide receivers, look, there was not this glaring massive game from any of the wide receivers. Nobody had 95 yards and 2 touchdowns or anything like that.
Justin Watson, once again, led the way.
He did. But I do think there actually was improvement within the wide receiver group, specifically in the first half, right? There was a lull. Clearly, you saw when Kelsey was out, and then when Kelsey was back in, you saw the difference he makes.
Sure.
But overall, I thought Kadarius Toney at times had some nice moments. I know you're like, well, how can you have a nice moment? You didn't even have 50 yards. But I actually thought Toney, I thought Rashee Rice clearly. I thought Justin Watson was able to do that. Justin Ross had a great catch that everybody went, crazy over as well. So it wasn't the big wide receiver game, but this was one of those times where some of the younger players that you're hoping have increased workloads later on, Rashee Rice, Justin Ross, to me, they proved that they probably earned some more opportunities.
So, Rashee Rice, almost no chance. I mean, it's borderline inexcusable that he only had 30% of the snaps and ended up with 4 catches for 33 yards and a touchdown. For reference, 80 snaps between Sky Moore and MVS combined. They had 80 snaps. They combined for 3 catches for 33 yards. So they were less productive than Rashee Rice in almost 2.5 times total the number of snaps. So I think a lot of this with the wide receiver thing is, are you choosing to be an optimist or are you choosing to be a pessimist? Pessimist wide receiver guy is like, not great. Still a bunch of guys getting 25 to 30 yards. No one who stood out from this group. But I did think Rashee Rice had a really nice game. Watson fills his role. The questions I still have right now remain are, MVS and Sky Moore lead your team in wide receiver snaps. And they're both out here just getting cardio. those guys are just out for a leisurely jog because they sure as hell aren't getting the ball, and they aren't getting open enough to get the ball or whatever the hell's happening in between. That part to me is concerning. The one that is the most interesting one, funny enough, is Justin Ross. He only had 6 snaps in the entire game. He was targeted 4 times in those 6 snaps, an incredible rate. He dropped 2 of them, had a nice catch on one, and then just gained a few yards on the other.
It's because when he's on the field, Cody, he's in there for sure. It's special
because
packages.
He has a matchup. Yeah,
it's a matchup they like or a special package. Right now, that's still what Justin Ross is. Going forward, if they continue to struggle with Sky Moore, MVS to me, his playing time is just not going to go down. Like Sky Moore's could. MVS is gonna have his role in terms of snaps, and they're gonna hopefully hope that at some point they hit him on a deep pass or two and things open up. But I don't think we're gonna see MVS's playing time truncated all that much. It's whether or not Sky Moore continues to get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Rashee Rice having 30% of the snaps, that just has
too low.
That has to increase.
Way too low.
He's too talented and has picked up this offense far too quickly to not continue to increase what he's been able to do for this team. And Justin Ross, it's funny because it's 1 catch and everybody acts like he's the next DeAndre Hopkins, but continue to design some things for him. Go ahead and see what you can continue to bring while you're struggling in some other areas.
Well, and to Justin's credit, guys, at least he's getting open to be throwing the ball. I mean, Sky Moore isn't even getting open to be throwing the ball.
Yeah,
so,
I will say this. I mean, I think people are freaking out about two catches for 20 yards. We're burying Sky Moore for 2 catches for 20 yards most weeks. So
I don't know about you. I think Justin Ross, he's DeAndre Hopkins now. I don't know about you.
That's what I
He has a great story, guys. Come on.
Yeah, okay,
Let's give him a little bit of a break.
He's the next DeAndre Hopkins now, Cody.
All right, relax. DeAndre Hopkins didn't drop a ball for 7 straight years in the NFL. Justin Ross dropped 2 yesterday. So I think we can at least bump the brakes a little on the D-Hop comparison.
He's DeAndre Hopkins now, man. That 1 catch seals the deal,
Sky Moore was picked with a lot of expectations. Justin Ross was added to the roster out of another chance for him to make something of an NFL career, and he's putting up numbers that Sky Moore's putting up. So I feel like we might get to the point, guys, whether they get to getting another wide receiver or not, who knows. But if Sky Moore is continually putting up 2 catches for whatever, and he's only getting open to be throwing the ball 2 times, but Justin Ross can at least get thrown the ball enough, I think he's good enough to overcome the drop issue. I mean, we'll find out because everybody, drops passes. I'm not saying he's DeAndre Hopkins, but I think he might deserve a shot coming up here more.
Someone needs to contact Canton. What size jacket do you think Justin Ross will be wearing?
I mean, 6'4".
42 regular.
They haven't talked enough.
Yeah, I don't know if 42R is going to get it done. I think it's got to be a little bit bigger than that.
46.
Let me just real quick break down for you what the current pacing stats are for the receiving unit for the Chiefs. Justin Watson is currently paced to lead this team in wide receiver yardage at 744 yards. Next up is Rashee Rice at 588. Then Sky at 418, MVS at 394, Tony at 282, and Ross at 116. On premise, that is a scary low set of numbers, right? Don't love it. Now, look, you toss in the 2 tight ends are 888 and 452, and if you toss in all 3 backs combined, toss in another 700
back
almost
to 4,500
in
yards.
Yeah, I know. I still think stars win. And look, this is big picture stuff. I know this is thinking way too far in advance. This is why I'm not going to panic about the wide receivers yet. But when you're a Chiefs fan right now, you should always be thinking about winning Super Bowls and how you go about winning Super Bowls. Stars win playoff games. You need one other wide receiver that is a dude by the time you get to week 18, okay? I don't care how we get there. I don't care which guy it is. Somewhere, someone in this unit has got to become a guy by week 18. And right now, honestly, Rashee Rice seems like the favorite by a mile.
Yep.
My Sky Moore stock is dwindling in price. Kadarius Toney stock is at an all-time low. You can't feel way better about anyone except for Rashee Rice. But Patrick Mahomes was perfect. He threw for almost 300 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns, no picks. They scored 27 points. They moved the ball at easy times. They did go stagnant a couple times when Kelsey was out, but it's hard to complain.
But as you said, it only takes one. If you tell me that at the end of the year, Rashee Rice becomes the 3rd down reliable target outside of Travis Kelsey, and he's someone you can start really trusting, and he's consistently getting open, that's all you need. It doesn't have to be Rice and Sky Moore. You would love it to be that. But before the season started, we said, who's the next guy? We thought it could be Tony, thought it could be Sky Moore. It looks like Rashee Rice, yes, is going to be that guy. That's why the snap percentage to me needs to be increased. for Rashee Rice going forward, because it looks like he might be the most comfortable in the system out of the young guys as well. He clearly is a very smart football player, has picked up things really quickly. And, it's nice to get through a game, too, where we're not talking about a drop for him, right? He snagged the football. Yeah. In fact, one pass was a little behind him, I thought, and he was able to catch it. So that was promising as well for Rashee Rice going forward. But yeah, the pacing numbers are jarring to look at. But overall,
they don't look good on paper.
The one, though, you mentioned, like, the only guy you feel better about, let's not forget, Noah Gray suddenly pacing to be a 500-yard receiver, perhaps, is a really promising thing, especially right now with where we're at with Travis Kelce, some weird injuries. You had the hyperextended knee. Now it looks like there's an ankle injury. We'll see how swollen that thing is today and whether or not he can play Thursday. My guess is that's going to be very much in doubt against the Denver Broncos. But Noah Gray's really important for this football team right now with suddenly some uncertainty twice in the first 5 weeks of the season when it comes to the health of Travis Kelce.
Again, my biggest concern right now is that Sky Moore has 61% of the snaps. He has taken 212 snaps. That is only 100 short of what he took all of last year. 212 snaps. He's only managed to be targeted 17 times. He only has 9 catches. 212 snaps for 9 catches. That ratio is bad. There's no way to defend it. It's just bad. It's just a bad ratio. You got to be more productive, because that's where I don't blame people. They're like, hey, what if one game you just saw what Justin Ross did with that number of snaps? Or what Rashee Rice did with that number of snaps. And I'm like, yeah, I got to be honest with you. Also interested to see that if you gave someone 200 snaps over the next 5-game period, if they'd be able to put up more than 9 catches for 130 yards. Because my guess is most wide receivers would at least be that productive.
It almost seems to me like Rashee Rice is the guy that Patrick maybe has the most trust in and is going to be that go-to guy, if you will. But through the 5 games that we've seen, Justin Watson has been the guy that has the more down the field catches. I mean, his catches other than the Jets game, 33, 37, 34, 26 in each of those other games were his longest catch. So if Patrick's pushing the ball down the field, it seems like Justin Watson is the guy who's getting the ball as opposed to Rashee Rice more, and then maybe that's where he fits into this right now.
Let's be honest. The reason why we were all scared, why we remain scared about the wide receivers, is because for a brief moment in that game, all of our hearts sunk. We all thought, for a second, you thought there was a chance Travis Kelce was done for the year.
Absolutely. And
the way he was throwing his helmet on the sideline, the way he was acting, dude, I thought he was done. Done.
Yeah, and it didn't help that if you were listening to the CBS broadcast.
They made it seem like he died.
Well, just they were wrong on their information. They said there was a foot injury was getting x-rayed. Like his foot was getting x-rayed. It ended up being his ankle. There is a difference there. And so, fortunately, then you see Travis Kelce jogs back out on the sideline, stood around trying to get back in the game.
Trying to sneak back in.
A couple times, then ultimately we all know he ends up getting a touchdown. It looks like they, once again, were fortunate to avoid the disastrous
Is that going to be all year I got to panic about Travis Kelce?
Knocking on wood, man. I mean, I do wonder a little bit. Some of it is just some bad luck. You do wonder. He's 34 years old. If some of this stuff is going to happen a little bit more, they got to be cautious with it, but they've avoided disaster. I do think he's very much in question for Thursday, though.
I wouldn't play him just because it's Denver and they give up like 250 yards a game rushing this season. But I mean, it was a terrifying moment to watch it on the field because the way he went down and the way he reacted after he went down. But now that I think back to it, it's probably going to be just because he's frustrated, because as much as his body probably gets dinged up in a given year, man hasn't missed time. Then he misses the first game this year. He's got to recover from this knee injury. And then what? He's down again? I imagine for that moment, he was like, you got to be kidding me. I can't believe that I'm having to suffer. And it's the field's fault. To me, this is not I saw a bunch of people like, well, Father Time. I'm like, it got Justin Jefferson. He's like 23.
Well, this is a hamstring.
Same difference, though. He stepped on the field and then slipped and got hurt. I don't think it matters if it's a hamstring or an ankle.
I mean, neither one of us are a doctor. I would argue that the ankle probably more related to the field than the hamstring injury. Hamstring injuries can happen on any field, man.
You saw his foot catch. Same thing.
Yeah. The field itself, the only thing that I will say about that is all of a sudden it did, because it happened to Travis Kelce, cause the Swifties to get behind the movement to go to all grass. If there's a group that can pressure the NFL, that the NFL wants more than anything else right now, it's Taylor Swift fans. And maybe that's the group. You saw there was a lot of the fan accounts saying, what do we got to do? They were praying for Travis Kelce, supporting. They don't want, because they know it'll make Taylor upset and sad. If there's one group that can force the NFL to switch back to all grass fields, it might be the Swifties.
What do you need from us is really what we're asking here. We understand you have the louder voice in this and a better chance to convince the NFL, at the very least, to get rid of the slip turf fields. The one they have in Minnesota, statistically, the NFL's own research proves that this is the most injury-risking surface in the entire NFL. More players get hurt on average on fields like Minnesota's than any other type of field service in the entire NFL. So just tell us, Swifties.
They're replacing it next year, so they know it. They are replacing it with a different type of surface. Some of this stuff, though, does get misleading, admittedly, because it depends on who you want to trust to believe. You got, former NFL doctors on Twitter, like Pro Football Doc, who actually said that ankle injury Travis suffered, it's more likely that he would slip on a grass surface than that. So we can all make our case for whatever side we want. I don't know what the real answer is here. What was more likely, if the ankle injury, if he slips on grass more, if he slips on that. Either way, the condition of the field, one way or the other, impacted what now we know is an ankle injury of some sort for Travis Kelce. This is even what Patrick Mahomes had to say just about Travis going out of the game.
It was a little weird because it happened right before half, and so we obviously had that 2-minute drive. And then you get back to the locker room, they're looking at it and stuff like that, but I knew, obviously all of it hurts, and if Travis is out of the game, it hurts, but I knew he was trying to get back in, and I feel like Travis has the same mindset as I do. You give him the window of, he can get back in the game, he's going to be back in the game. And so, competitor, man. That's why he's one of the greatest, is that he'll battle through stuff like that and came back and made a lot of great catches for us.
To have an injury where for a split second everybody thinks your season's done, then to go get a touchdown in the same game. It is ridiculous. It really is.
And he split the defenders on the drive before where he was 5-6 yards short of the sticks and then still got the first down on an important third for the Chiefs. He still led the team in receiving. He played less snaps than 3 different wide receivers. He still led this team in receptions, yardage, and got a touchdown. Because, of course, he's Travis Kelce. This is part of the reason why I'm telling you he's never going to age, is the man twisted his ankle in the middle of the game. I thought his season was done.
Man. That's
why I've stood by this.
You got to stop saying that, though, because you have to admit, what you want to call them freak injuries or not, twice in a month.
It's been kind of rough this year. This has been a tough year for me.
Now people are starting to...
I said it for 2 years, and the man was perfectly healthy.
He's 34.
Now I'm a jinx?
I don't think you want to be saying that, nothing can stop him now. I don't know. We don't need to start having that.
He's the Terminator, man. I don't know what to say. I really hope that the Swifties get on board get us some all grass fields. Do you think, just real quick, do you think Taylor sends do you think she fired off right after the game? Do you think she fired off the hey babe, hope you're okay?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that one came through? We talked about this, I remember, before the game.
It should have happened.
I would expect it. They're in a relationship. If your significant other, in this case, you watched it happen maybe, or you heard about it, got hurt, you would, hey, how you doing? You all right?
I think you send the how you feel?
Absolutely. Of course.
I bet he sent her a photo of the ankle all swollen up this morning. Be like, it hurts a little bit, but I'll be all right.
Call me when you're done.
I'm sure he was like, I'm fine, babe. I just got a touchdown a couple plays later.
I'm good. Did you see me when I scored that touchdown right after that? Right after that moment? It's so funny because funny enough, I was watching part of when that game got out of control last night. My wife was watching, so I was watching part of the David Beckham documentary on. Okay. So it doesn't matter. It's on Netflix. Yeah. But obviously, he was dating Victoria Adams, who's one of the biggest stars in Britain at the time. So they were two massive stars dating each other at the same time, right? So I was immediately reading into the correlation between the two, between Travis Kelce.
All right.
And I still couldn't believe that neither of them made a big deal. That the day before he was getting ready to play in the single biggest soccer game of his life, when he's getting ready to take on Argentina in a semifinal of a World Cup, she hit him with the "Yo, babe, I'm pregnant" text.
The day before?
Day before!
Oh, wow. Yeah, you might want to hold off until after the game.
Right?
How did he perform in that game?
He got kicked out with a red card. England lost the game, and then they hated him for years.
They shouldn't have hated him. They should have hated her.
Tough living.
I did not know that.
At least Taylor likes watching the football games. If I remember right from watching the trailer to that, she hated soccer before him and hated soccer.
She said she only really likes watching him play soccer. Yeah. She's not interested in any other portion of the game. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's the thing with Taylor. Maybe Taylor only likes the NFL.
She was an Eagles fan.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
She was. That's still, I think, the next time we see her at Arrowhead is in a couple Monday nights or whatever.
Someone said at the end of the Terminator, the Terminator dies. Yeah. That's a terrible example. All right, fine, but you get the thing.
All right, let's get to it. Trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
Look, we try to help everybody out. I feel like you guys help us out. We vent a lot on this show, but I think we get texts all the time. and we appreciate them. You guys say, you help me make it through a day, right?
Yeah.
Enjoyment. What if I told you, those of you that are diehard listeners, specifically those of you not listening on the Odyssey app, but are listening in your car, all right, to the AM 610 signal.
Okay.
We're helping you stay healthy. We're helping you still perform. There's a study out that says, quote, zapping your penis with AM radio waves can help fight erectile dysfunction. According to a study, you are welcome. Listen longer to 610. Specifically, I can't confirm this or not, but I think it also says the 610
specifically this frequency is better.
610 frequency specifically is the AM radio wave they're talking about here. But scientists have found out that this is something that's real. 50% of patients achieved normal erectile function after treatment. 11 of them significantly improved.
The most amazing part about this is I assume in this study they just did like the AM waves with no sound. But it's way funnier to think about someone just shooting 610 Sports AM waves directly at their penis and be like, problem solved. Hey. Doc, I'm fixed. I'm good to go.
If you're struggling out there, just listen more. Listen longer. 610 Sports Radio. AM.
Someone says, is this why I have a boner at 10 o'clock every weekday?
Hey.
I mean, it can't be denied, at least as a possibility. This says,
if you're listening to the
2 months and 12 treatments.
If you're listening to the other station, you're not performing. Perhaps you might not be performing. We know 610 listeners have no issues.
Not only does it help it cures it.
That's right. If you had an issue before, it's time to switch. You got a buddy, help your friends out. You got a friend that's struggling a little bit.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe your husband, listens to the other station and you just like our station better, which you should anyway. Tell him, you know what? Honey, I got our problem fixed. You don't need to go spend money on meds or anything. No. You need to start listening to 610 AM in particular.
Do you have a radio in your house that plays AM? I know you listen to it in the car. But do you have a radio in your house that'll play
I
it?
do not, no.
I have a Bluetooth speaker that also has AM radio on it.
At this age, I don't need to listen to the AM yet.
For this reason?
At this age, I'm good. We're still fine.
Do you ever wonder where they come up with the idea of these studies? Be like, hey, look, I'm trying to figure out like an erectile dysfunction. So they're like, all right, cool, Jim, what's your idea? Like, you want to get another kind of pill with the same active ingredient as a lot of these pills? Like, no, I got a whole new idea. I want to shoot AM radio waves at someone's penis and see if it helps. That's it. That was this guy's plan. He took this to a study and said, can I get some funding, please? This is the and he tried. Think about it. He tried this on like rats or something first before he got the human trial stage.
Someone says, am I supposed to move the radio closer to my crotch or not? I don't know about that. You're gonna have to do some more research on that.
That's gonna be hard in the car. Yeah, I would think.
Just leave it on 610 AM, right? And those of you that complain about the Odyssey app, switch back to AM if you have to. If you're struggling a little bit, that's all you got to do.
You might also want to make sure that you're in a spot where. Yeah. You're away from other cars maybe when you're testing this out, unless you're in the privacy of your own home.
And someone says they're still struggling even though they listen longer, right?
Someone said we got to start doing radio ads for like this treatment center.
Mm-hmm.
Some guy doing a testimonial. Ever since I started listening to Cody and Gold, my sex life has never been better.
Definitely could have done a spoof. But no, it's according to this study.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely perfect.
I think it's completely accurate too. I don't see why any further.
I'd say keep studying it. And if you know what, I will supply AM radios for this study if they promise that the only AM they play during it is 610 Sports Radio. They have to listen to us specifically.
Yeah, we can't confirm.
Going through this.
I can't confirm or not, but my guess is if you walk into one of those clinics, all they're playing, right, Cody, is 610 AM. That's all they play in the clinic. It's not coincidence that the lobby music is just sports talk radio. There's a reason for it. Now it all makes plenty of sense. That is the trash of the day. Someone says we need T-shirts that say Cody and Gold 610 AM. Listen longer, listen harder.
I imagine we could probably get someone to help us out with those. Mm-hmm. Ever since I started listening to Cody and Gold, my sex life has never been better. That's going to be a new sweeper on this show.
Perfect.
I mean, look, the science is there. What more do you want,
That's right. All right, coming up next, though, we get to the 11 o'clock hour. Once again, the NFL reminding us quickly how things can change. And What is going on with one element of this offense involving maybe some of the opportunities down the field? We'll try to figure that out next.
Chiefs fans, it's Jawan Taylor. Don't miss Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10 on 610 Sports Radio.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Well, I want to tell you about another winner. It's my friends at Window World. They are ranked #1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They're also the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs. So you know the Chiefs are a winner. And Window World, they have windows that are one of 2 windows that are locked in with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. In just over 20 years of business, they have improved the look and thermal efficiency over 52,000 homes in Kansas City. Plus, your windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all your parts, glass breakage, and labor. It also uses a double-strength glass. It gives it that extra strength that is not commonly used in your normal replacement windows. They're giving an incredible deal right now. They are offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. 18 months, that's a year and a half. So do me this favor. Give them a call for a free home estimate. Check out the website, and they can show you how they are simply the best for less. Fall is right around the corner. You know winter is going to be here before you know it. I want you to get ready, and the best way to do that is with my friends at Window World.
Get a new car at a used car price during our 2023 surplus sale. I'm Jeff Davis, owner of Volkswagen Lease Summit. We have huge discounts on all remaining 23 Volkswagen models.
Get up to $4,000 off the 23 Taos, $5,000 off the 23 Tiguan, $6,000 off the 23 Atlas, and up to $10,000 off the ID4 EV.
Get our lowest prices of the year at the #1 VW dealer in the Midwest. Visit VWLeeSummit.com.
Claim based on 2022 VW retail reports. Financing through VCI OAC.
Need a new pharmacy? Hy-Vee makes it easy to transfer your prescriptions. Just bring in your prescription bottle, receipt, or label, and we'll take care of the rest, making sure all your records are transferred from your old pharmacy. It's that easy. And Hy-Vee makes it easy to refill your prescriptions too, with Repeat Refills, our automatic refill service. Plus, Hy-Vee accepts thousands of insurance plans and can answer your Medicare Part D questions. Let the helpful pharmacist at Hy-Vee help you make the switch today. Restrictions may apply. See your local Hy-Vee pharmacy or Hy-Vee.com for details.
Hey, it's Kling. I always enjoy my time shopping at Hy-Vee, but I also play a little game with myself and seeing if I could rack up more fuel savers just by swiping that Hy-Vee Fuel Saver card. But there's even more. Introducing the all-new Hy-Vee Perks membership, a free and easy upgrade to your Fuel Saver card, exciting new advantages like exclusive member-only pricing on hundreds of items every day. To start earning the all-new benefits or to enroll for the first time, just go to hi-v.com/perks and upgrade your card. Hy-Vee Perks, the best grocery value in town.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times national survey of pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bring smiles to all when shopping online with Dell Technologies Gift Guide. Whether it's for the artist, the entrepreneur, the student, or the streamer, you'll find the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Dell.com/gift guide makes gifting easy with a carefully curated selection of our best tech. Shop now to explore our innovative PCs like the XPS 13 laptop, powered by the latest Intel Core processors, plus this season's top accessories. Visit Dell.com/gift guide today to get a jump on your holiday gift list. That's Dell.com/gift guide.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey Chiefs fans, it's Patrick Mahomes. Catch me every Monday with CDOT during the season on your official broadcast partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
11 o'clock hour, Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to What's Bugging Drew coming up in 20 minutes. I would guess a lot less after his Cincinnati Bengals looked a little more
I feel a lot better today.
He is wearing a Cincinnati Bengals hoodie again.
You're in a better mood. I know. You take a deep breath. You're like, all right, there's hope still.
Against the Cardinals, too.
There's hope still for my Cincinnati squad. That's what you're thinking today, I think.
It's not even that they won as much as I saw Joe Burrow scramble around, drop back, and unleash a 58-yard ball in the air that was caught for a touchdown. That was all I needed to see to be back in. Super Bowl bound, boys.
We'll talk more about what did occur in Week 5 away from the Chiefs here in about 10 minutes or so. But we were mentioning the wide receivers, right? And there wasn't the big plays necessarily, but there certainly was some progress. And why we all believe now Rashee Rice continues to show and prove that he needs more playing time. The one thing that they still haven't connected on, and this is where maybe the number and why the numbers are down for MVS in particular, Cody.
Yeah.
Deep passes, deep balls, a lot of underthrown passes as well from Patrick Mahomes.
Am I the only one who feels like it's been like 15 consecutive deep passes that have been thrown short? I cannot be the only person who feels like that's at least what it's looked like. Look, I know what he was in the first half because I looked it up. He was not good on deep passes. In the second half, he did get the pass interference MVS deep ball, which was pass interference. So, to me, a win, right, in general. But, I mean, this is a person who in his history had been very good at deep completions in his NFL history. And I look at, like, deep passes for Brock Purdy, who has a perfect passer rating in air yards over 10-plus yards. And Patrick Mahomes is far, 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 far below that this year. Something's off. I don't know if it's at this point, I don't think it's injury, which is what people were predicting in that game. I think it's a feel thing. I don't think he has the touch for the deep ball right now. I'm not sure that there's a great solution for it. I did see someone suggest that maybe Tyreek was a bigger factor in making that look better than it was, and maybe that's like the one missing element of his game.
I mean, last year it wasn't necessarily air yards, but remember, they still finished towards top 3 in the league in explosive plays over 20 yards or more through the air. last year. And that was, of course, without Tyreek. So I don't know if it's, look, Tyreek Hill is incredible. I think right now it just goes back to the general problem we've discussed with the wide receiver room. There's still, I think, a lack of trust.
You don't think there's anyone to get down
A
there.
lack of trust down the field with his targets. So even when they're open, Justin Watson might be the guy you trust the most right now down the field, and understandably so. He's the guy that's making catches. And then on the other end, you're not seeing MVS have as much success down the field. Usually every 2 or 3 games last year, if not more, you were good for one real good chance, real good shot down the field, the MVS. I think we've seen it once so far this season.
Here's what I honestly think it is. Because Patrick Mahomes right now in yards per attempt ranks below a huge chunk of the NFL. He's 2.5 yards behind Tua, well behind 2.5 yards behind Brock Purdy, Josh Allen. These are the quarterbacks that are above him. Goff, Stroud, Herbert. I can go on. Lots. Right? He's only averaging 7 yards per attempt. He's way below his career average and his just normal total. I think that what actually is happening, and I told you some of the other theories. My current working theory for the problem is that he had to spend 2 consecutive years being a check down guy. Not because of Andy Reid, but because the NFL said, no, you're not going downfield anymore. You burnt us for 4 consecutive seasons that way, and we're going to make you go 12 plays at a time all the way down the field, and you're going to hate it. And as a result of that, he's lost feel for it. That's all I think it is. I don't think it's a physical thing. I think he's just lost feel for the deep ball. Because in that game yesterday, he underthrew MVS. It was close on Justin Watson. He threw 2 picks the week before on underthrown balls. They were about 20 to 30 yards down the field. He just doesn't have a good feel for it. There have been other opportunities to get touchdowns this season on deep passes that he has simply left short. That's all. He's just leaving him short. It's the only complaint I probably have about Patrick Mahomes this year, honestly. Everything else he does is fantastic because he's Patrick freaking Mahomes. But right now, the deep pass is something that they have to get worked out because there's some sort of feel thing off there. You can see it.
Yeah, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes will speak again on Wednesday. So because of the short week, there normally Andy would talk exclusively today here on 6 at noon. That's not taking place. So my guess is there will be maybe our guy Pete Sweeney. We can ask him to ask Patrick a little bit more on Wednesday what he's seeing on some of those deep ball opportunities. Like, is it a feel thing?
Like someone saying ankle plant, like maybe it really is the injury just enough to leave those balls underthrown.
By the way, he got hit low yesterday. Again, fortunately, he was able to never miss a play, stayed in the game, and was able to kind of walk it off. But yeah, you wonder if it's a combination of things. I still think a lot of it is just the wide receivers and still a lack of trust that exists there. But I think it's very noticeable, anybody that's been watching the first 5 weeks, knowing that the deep balls don't look the same as they did a year or two ago.
This is why this is currently his lowest yards per game in his NFL career and his lowest yards per attempt in his NFL career. There's a lot of games left to fix that. But I mean, right now he's averaging 257 passing yards per game. His lowest ever is 287. It's 1 deep ball. Like if you're wondering where offensively, like if you tried to boil down, hey, why don't they look quite as good on offense as I'm used to seeing them look? It is 1 deep pass a game. That is legitimately the quantifiable difference between his yards per attempt, his yards per completion, his yards per game. All of those things is because he can't get the ball deep. And what's frustrating about it is he has had about as much time to throw as ever in his NFL career. He's getting sacked at a lower rate than at any point in his career. Now that is partially because he's getting rid of the ball faster because of all of the short stuff. I just think he's lost feel for it. Doesn't mean he can't get it again. Doesn't mean he can't refine it. But I think the fact that teams have kept them so damn close to the line of scrimmage is making him short these throws just based out of not a good in-game feel.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to go up against, other than the Chicago defense, this defense they're going to face on Thursday. We'll have all week later on to talk about it. Fortunately, they're going to play a defense that might be one of the 5 worst defenses in NFL history on Thursday, so it might be a good opportunity to get that figured out a little bit and try that out against the Denver Broncos. Even though Patrick Surtain II is fantastic, otherwise that Broncos defense is as bad as it gets in a very long time in the NFL. Bad. In a very, very long time. Think of the rest of the NFL, though. You know, just as you thought that things were settling and it was going to be a rollback to 2021 where just the Chiefs and the Bills may be atop the AFC, you get a reminder once again, one, how fortunate you are to be sitting at 4-1, and despite the issues that exist with the Chiefs right now, they're still finding ways to win football games while they're figuring out this wide receiver room and some of the other issues. Meanwhile, you look across the league, I mean, The Ravens, if they don't win the AFC North, they're going to look back at the Steelers' loss yesterday, and that's going to be the one. The Steelers had one good play on offense and a safety and found a way to win the game.
Their offensive coordinator didn't even seem happy about the one good play they had on offense.
Matt Canada.
If anyone saw the video, dude, the entire video room is like thrilled that he hits George Pickens for the long touchdown, and Matt Canada is staring there stoic until his assistant coach touches him on the arm because he knows he's on TV, and then he goes like this. Like just this like awkward, like, oh, I'm smiling now.
Kenny Pickett found a deep pass to George Pickens that you're referencing there, and the Steelers won. The Ravens should be sick to their stomach, and I imagine will be the game they look back on if they end up losing the AFC North to either somehow Pittsburgh or
Cleveland
or Cincinnati. Pittsburgh still. I watched their offense, and it still sucks. Like it's still brutal to watch. They still struggle to move the football. They were able to find a way to get a win, and they're sitting at 3-2, and then the Bills go to London. And suddenly, everybody was counting out Jacksonville, and hello, we're here. We've won 2 in a row in London. Jacksonville's right back in the mix again. And yeah, Buffalo, they're just running out of guys on defense. Tre'Davious White last week out for the season. Matt Milano, one of the best linebackers in football, out for the season. Von Miller comes back. We'll see how he progresses. He was on a snap count, it looked like yesterday. They're just starting to run out of bodies there in Buffalo defensively.
It was a very humbling week for the AFC of every week in the AFC, for just a minute, when you think you got it figured out, guessing, and I do not think this is hubris, guessing which team will be with the Chiefs in the AFC title game is a very difficult ask right now. Miami looked like the team for 3 weeks, got their ass kicked by Buffalo, come right back and roll up 40 points again with an unstoppable Tyreek Hill. Buffalo, the team who just beat Miami and looked unstoppable, then loses to the Jags. Now the Jags and Buffalo are only a game back of the best record so are Pittsburgh, so are Baltimore, of the best record in the AFC, so are Jacksonville, so are Indy. It's like you just don't know. There are two, it's a mess. The AFC, and I think maybe what's happening is the AFC is very good. And a bunch of these teams are going to beat down on each other. Back to the point where before the season started, we thought 13-4 at least to get the number 1 seed in the AFC. I think there's a shot 12-5 could get it. I still think it's probably 13-4, but it's starting to dragging that number closer because the AFC is a messy bitch. You always think for a second you think you got a handle on what it is, dude, and all of a sudden you can't figure it out. It's just I thought Jacksonville looked sloppy at best, and then all of a sudden they're beating Buffalo in London. By the way, I thought it was a bit rich, or Tottenham or wherever it was. I did think it was a bit rich that people were trying to Jacksonville, got that extra rest in London. I mean, I'm sure it didn't hurt.
Well, I think in the first half you saw that, Cody, right? I mean, Buffalo will sleepwalk in the first half. You don't apologize for wins if you're the Jags, but I absolutely think it played a role if you watch just how the first quarter and a half went. I mean, Buffalo was not ready to play right away. No. And I do think there's this, they flew in on Friday and they played Sunday. Meanwhile, Jacksonville was there for 10 days. So I actually do think it was an impact. It doesn't downplay what the Jags were able to do. But I do think in the first half, it absolutely played a role in how flat Buffalo looked. They looked terrible the first quarter and a half.
I mean, I get it. It does change a lot of things just from a travel perspective and not knowing. But that's also, Buffalo, some teams just get there on Monday. They stay there the whole week. You still have some decision-making, yes.
When the Chiefs go to Germany, I almost can promise you.
Monday.
I was going to say the opposite.
He'll go late. Yeah, he does go late.
Andy's not going to be hanging out in Germany for a week. I bet you they fly out as late as they possibly can. That's reasonable. I bet you they wait till Thursday or Friday before that Sunday game. I don't think they're going to be flying out midweek.
What do you think you definitively know about the AFC? I think the one thing we know is that there are 5 really good teams. Let's just include the Chiefs in there and let's not try to separate them by tier. Teams that I think can play in the AFC title game with the Chiefs, right? I mean, Miami's very good. Buffalo's really good. Baltimore's really good.
Cincinnati's still going to be part of it, man.
Cincinnati re-enters the conversation because all of a sudden they're only a game back in their own division.
That's why the Ravens lost.
That Ravens loss was massive.
It was huge for them.
Huge for Cincy. I know, Joe Burrow just looking like old Joe Burrow for at least one game is, of course, the biggest news.
Although they could get humbled real quick. Their schedule sucks.
But they've got a tough stretch ahead. But the Ravens coming back to the pack a little bit in their own division is just massive. Because otherwise you're starting to wonder, can they catch up to the Baltimore Ravens? Now they're a win away. I don't know when they play the Ravens head-to-head again. But they're in position. We'll see if the calf holds up for Joe Burrow. But to answer your question, I think Miami, the interesting thing with them, and the Chiefs, of course, will play them head-to-head in Germany in a couple weeks. But you look at the Dolphins. In week 1, they won by 2 against the Chargers. That looks like their best win, right? Then they beat the Patriots, who are horrific. They beat the Broncos, who are historically bad defensively. They put up 70 points. They lost to the Bills, as you mentioned, by 28. And they just beat a terrible Giants team who cannot protect their quarterback. And then they get the Panthers this week. We're going to find out very quickly, though. Right now, I still don't know what to make of them. They get the Eagles on October 22nd, the Dolphins do. The Eagles look like one of the top three teams.
Although they look not quite as good as they did last year, too, even though they're undefeated.
Still a top 3 or 4 team, though,
They're
right?
like the Chiefs. They're undefeated, and I'm like, you could look a little better, you know?
So we'll learn more about the Dolphins here coming up to find out. But as long as Tua is healthy, that offense is always going to be a problem. The question is just because can their defense do enough to allow them to win some of those big time games? But I don't think, last week when we were discussing even at that point teams to cross off, unless the Bengals would have looked terrible against Arizona, I didn't think you could have eliminated them yet. And they looked very, very good against an Arizona team that's starting to look more like what we thought they were going to be after being competitive. Now it looks like the Cardinals might actually settle back into being what we expected.
And that's, and truthfully, that's not crazy. But Cincinnati, we'll find out for real how close they are. Seattle at home, you should win that game. Niners on the road, you're definitely supposed to lose that one. And then Bills at home. You go 2-1 during this stretch, and then you can erase all the failures of the early part of the season away from Cincinnati. You go 1-2 in that stretch, and then you still have a massive uphill climb based on the way you started your own season, and you're 3 games below 500 halfway through the season in a very difficult division. Gonna make it very hard to make the postseason with that kind of scheduling, especially because behind that you get a bunch of division
in games. A weird way, they kind of have to have the one against Seattle if you think you're going 2-1, right? Because they got the Niners and Bills.
I think so.
And Seattle's coming off a bye week. So you get Seattle plenty of time to get healthy, prepare. Geno was a little banged up the last time out. They go to take on Cincinnati. Like, that's not a gimme at all for Cincinnati against Seattle.
No, by no means. And again, these are all games. This is how the AFC works, and we know that. I can go through every team schedule right now, and there's very few stretches of games where I'm like, win, 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 win.
Yeah.
No, just not really the case. Even Miami, right? That's not the case. This stretch that we were talking about with the Chiefs, this is their easiest stretch in the year by a mile. They got the 2 games against Chicago and the Jets. They just got the game against the 1-3 Vikings. Then they get the Broncos 2 of the next 3 weeks. They look like one of the worst teams in all of football. So, I mean, this stretch for the Chiefs is the stretch where you're like, rack up some wins so you can afford a loss later and still go win the AFC. Like, don't screw up any of these games. Don't lose to the Broncos for the first time since 2015 on Thursday night and then reopen the door to the rest of the AFC. Just go out, handle your business, beat down a bad Sean Payton team, and move on with your day. I really don't want that game to be close. Also, if they don't score 30, I'm going to be a little embarrassed for them the way the Broncos defense looks.
But you know how this is trending, right? You realize
they're going to score 23?
You realize the Chiefs are going to win this game like 20-7 or something, and we're going to be frustrated. It's just going to be a boring game. That's because of what you just said. Like, that's the kind of stuff that sometimes happens in a league. Because I'm with you. The Chiefs should win 35-10. But it's Thursday Night Football, and it's just weird. And just when everybody thinks they should destroy, the Chiefs are 10.5-point favorites. Watch the game be not necessarily closer, but just ugly. Like, really, it's Thursday. There's a chance it could rain. We'll see. And it's like 24-7. And it's just like a frustrating game because you feel like the Chiefs should be up more, and they're still going to win by double digits.
Yeah. I don't want it to be that way. I just want them to drop 35 and then, the Broncos score 21 and we just casually hang out on Thursday night and then the night. So, I'm looking for that one, Gold. I'll be honest. I know we just got the easy win a couple weeks ago against the Bears. I'd like another one of those. Not a proper sweat like the Jets. And I still think they controlled that Vikings game.
They were up by two scores late.
Yeah, and they felt like the better team pretty much the majority of the time. I understand the Vikings very briefly took the lead 13-10. With about 2 minutes to go in the half, the Chiefs very quickly tied it up, scored the touchdown right away in that second half, converted that 3rd and 18.
The Chiefs,
and I never felt like they were really at risk of losing that game, if that makes sense.
They continue the coin toss luck. It's unbelievable. I don't know how they do it over the last 2 years. The coin toss luck, they continue to be in a position where they can defer and set it up for the double dip before halftime, which is what they did again. As you said, they got the field goal to tie it, and they started the second half with the football. Coin toss luck. It continues to favor the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, let's get to what's bugging Drew from the weekend. And as I said, at least this time around, it's not going to be about Joe Burrow and Cincinnati.
No, it is not going to be that way. It's actually game management. And this is college. This is the NFL. This is
great week to be bugged by game management.
Oh, my goodness. Like, we could do a better job, guys, of managing some of these games. So for those of you who missed Miami get beat by Georgia Tech, and I'm sure you found out after the fact at least, they should have won the game. No timeouts for Georgia Tech. All you got to do is knee. And instead of kneeling, Mario Cristobal does what he has apparently tended to do. Run the ball. They fumble. Georgia Tech moves the ball down the field quickly with Haynes King, and he throws a deep pass, 44-yard touchdown, and Georgia Tech upsets an undefeated Miami team. After the game, this is what Mario Cristobal had to say. Again, this is after that loss.
Again, just fell short in so many different ways. Battled. There were some signs of life. And then at the end of the game, a chance to put it away. And should just tell them to take a knee. And just take a knee.
The whole thing of we lost in so many different ways. No, sir.
No, you lost in one very specific way.
You actually costed that. Normally, it's not one thing that costed you the game. So that bothered me. Arizona, if you watch that game late, Pac-12 After Dark, again, the same thing Colorado State didn't do. Arizona didn't do. They didn't go for two when they tied. They could have gone for two in the win and first overtime. Just get it done. You kick the extra point, and what happens? You lose the game. Arizona losing to USC. They find a way to survive, but also Kevin O'Connell yesterday, guys. I mean, no timeouts with 9 minutes left to go in the game. Not that it costed them the game, but we can go college, we can go pro, where I think the three of us could have made better game managing decisions than the head coaches of these teams.
Literally the Chiefs game. I mean, he blew every single time out in the game. You don't even have to go that far. It was a really bad week for management, wasn't it?
And then we didn't even mention we were talking about the Steelers earlier.
Yes.
They were fortunate they won, but they had a chance. They had to kick a field goal late. But if they would have played it properly, they never should have had to give the ball back to Baltimore. It was really bizarre. Cody, you said it before the show. I think you're right. Look, football coaches, people that play the league, will always know more in terms of in-depth about football than we will. But sometimes they lack the clock management and common sense stuff. Right? I don't claim to have any clue. You hear how long these play calls are and the knowledge you have to memorize play calls and run the right routes. I can't imagine. It's extremely difficult to do, let alone be extremely good at it. But the game clock stuff and common sense at times is unbelievable. Like that kind of stuff, I do think at times we could do a better job. Because sometimes, I don't know if it's arrogance or you get so wrapped into it or what, sometimes you miss the obvious.
If I had not been anywhere near that game, they dropped me in that moment, I'd be like, all right, Cody, you got 30 seconds to decide real quick. Here's the situation. You're up this much. They have no timeouts, and there's 30 seconds left. I'd be like, okay, so take a knee. I solved it. I figured it out. Who knew? The mystery of taking a knee. By the way, this goes with Mario Cristobal. It goes back like years. He apparently has never taken a knee ever.
At least he's consistent.
He's lost a different game because he didn't take a knee. So this man just doesn't learn.
I don't know if this is actually accurate, but I saw somebody reported after the game that in the 2 seasons Mario Cristobal has been there, he has won one possession game in which he has taken a knee. Actually, one time. Dude.
Oh man.
Just take the knee. This is people getting mad at Mahomes for sliding down. This is way worse than that. All he had to do was step back 2 feet, have his quarterback put the knee on the ground, and they win the football game, and instead they lose.
That's what's bugging me, and I think it bothered a lot of people as well who were watching the games on Saturday and yesterday as well.
What a weird week for that. Again, like what you had said, what we were talking about before the show. I am never on this show trying to claim that I am smarter or know more about football than like an NFL or a college head coach. I'm just saying there are times that they are so wrong that I absolutely would have been right on. Maybe we would have never been in position, probably would have never been in position to win if I were the head coach, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't know enough. But if you put me in that moment, there's no way I would screw it up. If you had forced me to decide whether to challenge the Travis Kelce drop or not, there's no way I would have screwed it up upon seeing the replay. The man caught it. He was laying on his back after he'd been down for 2 seconds. Then the ball got ripped away. This is not a difficult decision.
I thought most coaches now have somebody that tells them whether or not it's a good idea to, they have an analytics guy, right, that to tell them whether they should go for certain situations, but also they have someone, I thought everybody did, whether or not they should challenge certain plays or not. So that was why the Kevin O'Connell one was really, really surprising.
Yeah, weird. It doesn't make any sense. Kevin O'Connell, by the way, a lot of people say his clock management and his ability to handle those situations is part of the reason they won as many games they did last year. He was great in those situations last year. All of a sudden, he's just burning through timeouts. That is the one benefit of them on the Andy not going for it on the fourth. At least faking going for the fourth cost them their very final timeout.
Sure could have used. Late in the game.
But they wouldn't have had to worry about that final timeout called there if they hadn't burned through the other two. One to avoid a delay of game, so that's on Kirk Cousins, who later got called for a different delay of game when they were out of timeouts, or the one that they burned on the challenge for Travis Kelce. Then they could have just used that one on the fourth down to think about it, and instead, no.
Red Monday brought to you by the Xfinity 10G. Get a reliable home network so everyone can work, stream, and game at the same time. Up next, we get to the Chiefs Red half hour and two corners proving they are one of the top two duos in the league. Plus, the end-of-game penalty conversation is back.
Chiefs fans, it's Sky Moore. Don't miss Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10 on 610 Sports Radio.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Ron had a tax problem he just couldn't handle on his own.
I owed the IRS taxes for over 5 years, but I didn't have any money to pay the taxes.
Those years cost him dearly.
Most of it was fees and interest. It was horrible.
Ron finally called in the pros.
I called Optima Tax Relief, and boy, am I happy I did.
The leading tax resolution firm, Optima, is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients. Ron was overjoyed.
They settled my account with IRS. I was ecstatic. They are a lifesaver. They are. I am so happy.
Take Ron's advice and call Optima now for a free consultation.
Yeah, don't do like I did and wait. Call Optima Tax Relief. Do it now. You'll be ecstatic like me.
Call 800-935-7144. 800-935-7144. 800-935-7144.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Dispatch, this is Mindy at Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling.
Well, boy, it's getting hot out there. Now, if your AC is making funny noises, just needs a once-over, or your home isn't as cool as it used to be, visit MissionPHC.com. Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. License 202909.
You've heard me talk a lot about betting in the state of Kansas, and you've heard a lot of people talking about just betting on this football season. But there's one area where you don't want to bet on, and that's your health. That's your vision health. And it's one area where I wasn't willing to risk it all. And that's why I called up my friends at Dury Vision, because they're the best in Kansas City. And I knew when I wanted to find out, could I move on from my glasses and my contacts? Could I just see every day when I wake up in the morning? I wanted somebody that I could rely on, and that was Dury Vision. I went in for my free consultation and found out I was a candidate. I went in and had my procedure just 2 days later, and the very next day I was driving right back into work here and doing this show on 610 Sports Radio. Dury Vision's performed over 65,000 vision correction procedures. You can find out if you're a candidate for LASIK as well by calling them at 913-491-3330, 913-491-3330, or you can go online to learn more about them as well at duryvision.com, and then be sure to tell them Alex Gold from 610 Sports Radio sent you. 913-491-3330.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options that include spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/610Bob and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL and of 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
When people have a craving to explore new and traditional Asian cuisines, they head to P.F. Chang's, where scratch-made dishes come from the 2,000-year-old tradition of wok cooking. P.F. Chang's wanted to explore new possibilities for their website. They turned to AmericanEagle.com. AmericanEagle.com re-architected P.F. Chang's website, integrating multiple third-party systems to create a unified digital experience. The results? Improved page speed speed and performance, personalized content based on users' location, intuitive online ordering, an increase in organic search visibility, and a 40% increase in new users. For scratch-made Asian cuisine, visit your local P.F. Chang's or go to pfchangs.com for website design, development, digital marketing, and hosting that produce efficiency, revenue, and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. P.F. Chang's and AmericanEagle.com. Another example of the best businesses in the world. Turning to the best in the business for websites, go to AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
Mobile Wave, specializing in mobile phone repairs, cracked screens, battery replacement, charging port issues, basic password unlocking, even micro soldering. Located in Lenexa. Online at mobilewaverepairs.com. Mobile Wave, quick repairs, premium quality, affordable.
'Tis the season. No, not that season, but it soon will be. And that means heating season. It's hard to think about right now, but this is the absolute best time to prepare for a warm and comfy winter. Why now? Because if you wait until it's cold, good luck. Now is the time to make the switch to a high-efficiency boiler from Navient. Their condensing boilers are Energy Star certified in a compact wall-hung design and backed by a strong warranty. Take advantage of up to $600 in federal tax credit. Find your local Navient installer at BoilerComfort.com. That's BoilerComfort.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, Discover. It's Jennifer Coolidge, and I just want to thank you for the cash back on my groceries.
Discover Cashback Debit gives everyone cash back on debit. Anything else I can help you with?
Do you know how to work an oven?
Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Mostly sunny, not as warm. High today, 67.
Weather brought to you by Total Wine & More. At Total Wine & More, save big on what you love this month with hundreds of deals on amazing wines and spirits. Love what you find at the lowest prices only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
This report is brought to you by Drug Enforcement Administration in Kansas City. DEA warns not all pills are safe. Countless fake pills contain a lethal dose of fentanyl. This makes drug overdoses a leading cause of death. Learn more how one pill can kill at kansascity.dea.gov.
This is Mitch Holtis, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour on Cody and Gold. Every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Chiefs Red Half Hour here on Cody and Gold. Hanging out on a Victory Monday. Thanks for joining us. You can hit us up on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7610. Coming up in a little bit, we'll get to the loss that the Chiefs have on their resume. And just like, I know it's not college football. You know, you don't get credit for losses. But it puts things in perspective a little bit. We'll do that in just a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, you come away from yesterday's win, and you already had belief, I think, 4 weeks in that this defense is the real deal. But, man, if you were still doubting them at all, how do you not feel even better? I get it. The Vikings are now a 1-4 football team. But Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and, yes, even Kirk Cousins, that's an offense that can do some things. And Trent McDuffie, and specifically, I think L'Jarius Sneed probably should get the most credit of the entire group.
Yeah, the best game of the season. And remember, he got picked on in the first 2 weeks coming back from that injury.
He did. He looks healthy. Maybe that's part of it, right? Justin Jefferson was held to 28 yards through 3 quarters. We know he exited the game early in the fourth quarter, has a hamstring injury that might actually keep Justin Jefferson out a week or so. That's unfortunate if that actually is the case. But remind you what Justin Jefferson has done this year. I don't need to tell you about historically what he's done. He's been one of the best players, period, in football. He won Offensive Player of the Year a season ago. He had 3 catches for 28. The week prior, had 85 yards. Then the 3 weeks prior to that, 149 on 7 catches, 159 on 11, and 150 on 9. The Chiefs held him to 3 catches. And look, even if he played the fourth quarter,
let's say he got 2 more, 2 for 60. I don't care, or 5 for 60.
They locked him down. Great scheme by Steve Spagnuolo. Jordan Addison was the guy that had to quote-unquote beat you in the game. That's fun. Make the rookie do that, and he had a nice game. But Justin Jefferson, with L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie on him, and then also Mike Edwards did a nice job a couple times over the top as a safety. They were phenomenal against Justin Jefferson, and it gives you even more belief, Cody, because you know you're going to see Jamar Chase again later this year. You know you're going to see Stephon Diggs. You know you're going to see Tyreek Hill and
A.J. Brown.
Jalen Waddle. A.J. Brown, exactly.
My God, you're going to see a lot of good wide
Devonta
receivers.
Smith. Like, you're going to see plenty of them.
Did you mention Devontae Adams?
No. I thought the Raiders. But
I know, but still, he's a very good wide receiver.
You're correct. Add him to the group. So this was really promising. Further belief that this master plan, I'll call it, of 2021 and on, of attacking the draft and saying, we're going to go out, if you're Brett Veach, we're going to go out and we're going to add speed and athleticism to this defense. And now you're seeing the fruits of it pay off, and a defensive line that you already know has been effective. But this year, to me, the story this year and what we'll be saying at the end of the year, the theme is the secondary more than it's going to actually be the Chris Jones pass rush, which you can rely on.
Which was important.
But it's going to be what this young secondary and safety group is able. That's how they're taking the next step here.
So while you were talking, I was like, you know what? I should have looked through this while we were talking about it going into the show. I wanted to look up, which wide receivers really got in this team at some point. So far, the top scoring wide receiver against the Chiefs was Josh Reynolds at 4 catches for 80 yards. They shut down every single top receiving weapon for every team they've faced all year. Calvin Ridley didn't do anything against them. Justin Jefferson hasn't done anything against them. They didn't have to face Jamison Williams, who could be. Josh Reynolds got him for 80 yards. Okay, kudos. They have been more hurt by tight ends. And by the way, whatever they gave up to Sam Laporta in the first week, all of a sudden it looks like they held him kind of down.
Yeah, he just had a huge game yesterday.
He's getting better and better as the season goes on. All he got him for was like 30 or 40 yards.
And they were 2 catches right before half.
Yeah, I know. And so when you go through right now, this is not a fluke. We are almost a third of the way through the season, right? We're at that crossroads where next game will technically be a third of the way week-wise through the season, because you get 18 weeks and they'll be through 6 weeks, so we'll actually be there. They have not been beaten by a wide receiver yet, and they have faced some good ones. They have not faced yet many great ones. The first great one was yesterday in Justin Jefferson, so we're like, I was holding out like, okay, just in case. This is because they're good at holding down really good wide receivers, not great ones. Justin Jefferson is arguably the best wideout in the entire NFL. He was a non-factor in a game against the Chiefs. Jordan Addison got a little bit open sometimes because of how locked down Justin Jefferson was. I'm not going to hear this argument. Someone tried to argue with you like, well, you're double teaming him. That's the job. Yeah. The job is to stop Justin Jefferson by any means necessary, not how you go about doing it.
That was some Chargers fan on social media. That was
some sort of world of delusion.
That explained the confusion.
No, Kirk Cousins, 284 yards. They did a good job.
It was a Chargers fan. That explained the confusion that existed there. But yeah, you scheme it up. You don't apologize for how you got the job done. You scheme it up. You locked him down. Hopefully his hamstring's all right. That sucks. I hope he's back in the mix for the Vikings. But let's not let the injury downplay what they were able to do. They when he was healthy, he had 28 yards for 3 quarters in the NFL. It got to a point, and correctly so for Kevin O'Connell, they tried to just desperately get the ball in his hands, right? They had a couple just quick
screen pass,
and it went over his head, I think, or whatever was on the pass. Like they desperately wanted, as they should, to put the ball in the hands of their best playmaker, Justin Jefferson. The Chiefs wouldn't let it happen. And that's where Snead, McDuffie, Mike Edwards, Justin Reed, Steve Spagnuolo, they all get credit for being able to do that. That was really, really, really impressive what they did against Justin Jefferson.
Far too early. I know we'll have to do this topic again in a month when the Chiefs actually face Miami. But just for fun, what do you think the final stat line will be for Tyreek? Okay, so we now know what the Chiefs secondary is.
Yeah.
We also know that Tyreek Hill is currently pacing for 2,200 yards this season.
Yeah.
So if there's and by the way, him and Justin Jefferson, just real quick, were averaging the exact same amount of yards going into this game.
They were. The Tyreek Hill, we know the difference is Tyreek Hill, they'll line up in the backfield and stuff. Justin Jefferson, they don't really put him in the backfield. If they do, they motion him. They motion him
faster.
Yeah, they motion him out quickly. I mean, with Tyreek Hill, what did he just had 181 yards against the Giants, who suck. Against Buffalo, 58. Best case scenario, what the Bills did, which is like 60 yards. Most likely, he'll probably go for 115 and at least a touchdown. Doesn't mean the Chiefs can't win that game, but Tyreek Hill will probably have a touchdown and 100 yards still, despite what we just said about it. It's just different. This is why when we have the debate about best receivers in football, I love Justin Jefferson. He was the Offensive Player of the Year last year. Thank you very much, Justin. Cash some money because of that.
Appreciate it.
But Tyreek Hill, to me, is the best receiver in football, not Justin Jefferson, because how many other guys can you put in a million different spots on your offense? Literally every spot available. And he is effective everywhere you put him, and with that speed. And so that's why, as much as I'm excited about shutting down Justin Jefferson, McDuffie, and Snead, it's tougher to shut down Tyreek Hill because you can't. It's not as simple.
It's not effective.
It's not as simple, I would argue.
Like, I'm just going through, and you're right. The good news is for them is they got their real test before they have to take on. And I wouldn't downplay Keenan Allen in a few weeks, a guy who has had a very good year. For the Chargers. Look, he's not Tyreek.
What more concerned if Mike Williams was there? That's the guy that's usually gotten the Chiefs, actually. Mike
Williams
Williams, because of his size, and he's out.
But, Miami's got two guys. The Eagles have two guys. The Bills have Stephon Diggs, and Gabe Davis is having a good year. So you're going to need one of them to be slowed down so you can focus your defensive efforts in other areas. This is a massive development for the defense because to this point, their pass rush has only been mediocre. Not bad. I wouldn't say it's been a bad pass rush. It's been mediocre. It's been pretty good. But it could be a whole lot better, or they should be expecting more out of it so far. And yet, they're only allowing 16 points per game. They are allowing a full 8 points less per game on average than their opponents typically score. So, you have to assume now that even if the Chiefs right now have to get in rock fights because their offense isn't fully clicking, they are capable, way more capable than they've been ever in the Patrick Mahomes era, of winning a rock fight. And it's because of the secondary and all that stuff. But I've never had this much confidence in defense. You remember how many midseason conversations we've had where I'm like, I'd like to see the defense start coming alive
you and I got a lot of arguments.
Can believe in them at some point along the way. I'm the opposite this year. I feel great.
Yeah, you and I over the last couple of years gotten plenty of arguments around week 7, like about where the defense is at, where will they be at the end of the year. And this year, there's no need for those discussions because of what this defense has done. I think what you were saying about the secondary and just the defensive unit, that speaks to why, despite the concerns with the wide receiver room, overall, this is by far, it's not even close, the most all-around roster Patrick Mahomes has had around him. It really isn't close. A lot of people maybe nationally can look and say, well, that's not true because they don't have Tyreek Hill. All around, though, 53-man roster. And because of the defense, this is the best all-around group Mahomes has had around his entire team. Not around him in the huddle when he had Tyreek Hill and he had some other weapons, but across the entire roster, Mahomes has never had a better team around him. And it's because right now he's never had a defense like this around him. And that's what's really, really exciting. I mean, you've referenced the stat multiple times about the best defense Tom Brady ever had in his career compared to this point.
There's not even close. Tom Brady had like 78 top 5 defenses.
To this point, the best that Mahomes has had. And this far and away this year looks like it'll be the best of Mahomes' career. And because of the youth on this team, and we'll see what the future holds for Chris Jones, but because of how young they are, this shouldn't just be a blimp on the radar here a little bit, right? This should be something hopefully that they're able to sustain a little bit going forward as long as they can figure out developing Karlaftis more and if Felix and Uzama can develop into something long-term.
Yeah, I mean, they do consistently double-team Chris Jones on every single snap. And he got a sack again, didn't he?
Yeah, so it was funny. Right as, and it's just, everybody on following the game was like,
7 straight games now?
Chris Jones, he hasn't done much yet. The Vikings are doing a good job locking him down. I kid you not, the very next possession, they left him one-on-one once, and he came right through and got a sack immediately.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, because I thought at first that was like a busted screenplay that they weren't planning on blocking Chris Jones. No, it was just Chris Jones beat his offensive lineman in about 1/4 of a second and then immediately was on top of Kirk Cousins. But that's it. They have a chance. Like, what's crazy about it is there is room for improvement defensively. The second, what are we, 2 weeks now? No, 1 week away. After this week, they will get to return Charles Omenihu.
Still, Nick Bolton's not played in a couple weeks.
Nick Bolton hasn't played in 3 weeks. He might. I don't think. Honest to God, if you sit him on this game on Sunday, no reason to rush him back on Thursday. You buy yourself 10 full-ass days. You've won both games the man's missed. If he misses a third straight game, no Nick Bolton, your best player. No Charles Omenihu, another deep defense. Your second biggest contract you signed or third biggest contract you signed this offseason? I mean, you got a chance to, there is room for improvement, and they are currently the 5th lowest scoring defense in the NFL right now. Highest, I always get confused about how
Drew Tranquil's done a great job filling in for the last couple weeks with Nick Bolton. It'd sure be nice to get Nick Bolton back. I agree with Pete, though. Pete Sweeney joined us last Friday. I know it's a short week, but you got the sense, if the Chiefs were going to hold him out for 4 games, why wouldn't they have just put him on IR?
I know, but this happens. They've done that with Eric. I can point to
Eric Berry things.
I know,
the
but
most extreme.
It's not just that one. That's the easiest one.
Yeah.
I can point to, because I've had this conversation before, that exact conversation when Pete said it 2 or 3 times in the history of Andy Reid. They've missed enough time that would have been justified to put him on IR, and he didn't, because he's hopeful that they'll come back. He wants to give leaders of his defense a chance to come back. To me, if you didn't start him on Sunday, rolling him back through 3.5 days later is not worth the risk, when I know the plus side is I get a 10 full days if I just continue to sit him to get him right before a much more important game against the Chargers.
But, right, I mean, if Nick Bolton's healthy, he's healthy, right? So, I mean, if there's a question, then I'm with you. But if he's healthy and good to go, he's playing on Thursday if that actually is the case. The guy that we'll know more later on in the week about is going to be Travis Kelce. Just because
I'd also say him.
I mean, that I'm imagining, if it really is the ankle, I'm imagining that thing is swelled up pretty good since yesterday's game.
But it hurt pretty bad this morning. So I don't want to say for sure, but it probably didn't feel great.
That I'm, at best case, I'm assuming he's listed as questionable later in the week for Thursday night.
I was looking back through the Chiefs because we obviously look ahead to the schedule all the time, right? We're just talking about when they're going to face Miami and how they 2 weeks after that have Philly and all the challenge. And, in 2 weeks they've got the Chargers, which is obviously big for the division, depending on what they do this week. I don't know who they've got this week. They had a bye last week. So.
Cowboys. Which suddenly that game looks a little different. But yeah, Cowboys, Chargers.
You were making it seem like they're going to beat the Cowboys just to watch. Now it's like, well, I mean, maybe. I don't know. Cowboys just got their ass kicked. Feel way less good about the Cowboys.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I'm like, they might actually win a couple in a row before the Chiefs game. Everybody will jump back on the Chargers bandwagon. They're going to beat the Cowboys. And now you're like, oh, the 49ers destroyed the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Let's remember, though, the 49ers are that freaking good.
Yeah, they're the best team in football. I don't want to get into that because Chiefs fans are going to argue with me right now, but look.
Most complete team, it's the Niners. It's okay. By the way, it's okay. It's week 6, week 5.
Doesn't mean by the end. Doesn't mean that they would win the Super Bowl. Best team doesn't always win the Super Bowl.
The 49ers could play anybody right now in the Super Bowl, and they would be the favorites. Right now. But it's October, not February.
But I was looking back at the schedule because this has been kind of a weird start for the Chiefs. It doesn't look on paper the way we're used to seeing the Chiefs win. If you go back now and look at that Lions game, that's a good loss. I know that sounds like just as a quick reminder for if you're feeling bad about the Chiefs in any way, and I don't know why you would when they're 4-1 and currently control their own destiny, right, atop the AFC. The point is, they're still, right now, the top of the AFC, and they haven't played their best football. But now, in retrospect, we've seen the Lions get rolling a little bit this season. They are one of the top contenders in the NFC. They are not the 49ers, who are in their own little separate class right now, up there, I think, even more than Philly. Mm-hmm. And they're probably not Philly, who also deserves to be kind of separate from the rest of the group. But anybody else in the AFC or NFC who has a chance to be in the NFC title game and do those things, it's the Lions. Wrecked the Panthers, beat the Packers fairly easily, got kind of a salty win against the Falcons. Yeah, fine. They lost the Seahawks one time. Outside of that, the Lions have looked very salty. I was just looking back. I was like, I feel so much better about that loss now because the Chiefs have won 4 games in a row and the Lions are a good team.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions have proven, I think, that the hype that they got in the offseason was warranted. And one thing I was certainly wrong about the Lions was their defense. I thought their defense was still going to be an issue. That's where they've improved the most. That's why they're sitting at 4-1. And that was an overtime loss to Seattle at home. I mean, it was so, I mean, and give Seattle credit for the win, but still.
And they came from behind. I feel like the Lions kind of had control of that game.
The Lions are on a little different tier than the Eagles and Niners, but the Lions are absolutely one of the 3 best teams in the NFC. And it's not college football, as I joked earlier. So it's not like the Chiefs, man, their only bad loss this year was so-and-so. Let's put them in the college football playoff. Luckily, it's the NFL. We don't do that in the NFL compared to college football. But yeah, I get what you're saying, where it's like, okay, that loss, the further and further you get from it, you're like, okay.
It's like, just take a step back and look at an individual.
It actually frustrates me more because it was a 21-20 loss, and despite the offensive struggles in that Thursday night opener, you're one Kadarius Toney non-drop away, so a catch away from probably being in field goal range with Butker, who's been nails so far, to go in and make a game-winning field goal. But that's the NFL. A lot of teams can play that game too.
In a weird way, I kind of have to go back at that game because otherwise, I think you could look at the Chiefs on paper and be like, oh, great resume. What's the combined win total for the Bears, Jets, and Vikings? What do they got? 3 wins, 4 wins between them? Bears have got 1, right? Jets have 2 after their win
against
yesterday.
the Bills and Broncos.
Of course. And the Vikings have 1 after you started 1-4. So a combined 4 wins from your last 3 opponents. They stink. So then you go back to the other 2 games. You're like, okay, held the Jags to 9, playing their worst, but you kept them at playing their worst. They looked a whole lot better. They just beat one of the best teams in the AFC, so they could have gotten your ass. And you go back to that Lions game, and you're like, they're beating everyone else. They're playing too. Like, when you go back through, you're like, okay, I know they've beaten 3 bad teams in a row. Those are 3 teams who are going to win. What's the best team in that group going to finish with? 6 wins? Maybe?
I still think the Vikings find a way to get to at least 8 when it's all said and done. But yeah, they're
maybe
running
they're
out of
already
time.
1-4. I mean, they are running.
Yeah.
The runway is bad there for that, but like, I mean, I go back to those games because I'm like, what were you against the best competition you faced this year? Their 2 toughest competition games are the Lions and the Jags. They lost one by 1 point. They won the other by 8. And in the Lions game, it was self-inflicted wounds that cost them the game. They had that damn game.
And someone pointed out,
and Kadarius Toney couldn't catch the ball.
Someone on the text line is right. There was also no Kelsey or Jones in that game too. Let's not forget.
Oh yeah, great.
Like that's another thing that will at some point get lost in the national conversation around that. But should have won that game even without him. The Lions have still 2 of the most impressive wins in the entire league this year, considering locale, right? At Lambeau, at Arrowhead. So they're 4-1 with 2 of the more impressive wins you can have, based off of environments and quality of team, I would argue, too. Because I think the Packers are going to end up winning tonight. You and I both hope that's the case. I think all 3 of us hope that's the case.
Well, we've
tonight.
got it in a workplace pool picking against the spread.
Yeah, I need Jimmy G to throw a couple picks in the red zone, please.
Should have faded me so far in that, but
I was surprised. I think Bob's on Green Bay tonight, too.
I'm 1-2-1, so to this point, I just haven't.
We're going off Friday's spread, correct? Because
we had to lock it in Friday.
Otherwise,
we're not allowed to
be getting some more points.
Yeah, we're not allowed to change it. So
because
unfortunately, it's still Green Bay +1 or 1.5, not the 2.5 that it is currently.
Because I would have won this weekend because Houston lost by 2. And
well, you would have pushed.
No, well, it was 2.5 a kick.
Oh. Well, that's why we lock it in on Friday.
Yep.
So we lock it in on Friday.
I was convinced too that Houston had won that game because
should have won.
They were 19-18 with like a minute left, and Atlanta went down the field. And of all teams, the Atlanta Falcons went right down the field and got into range.
That NFC South, I still think it's going to get won by someone with like 9 games. I know the Saints are coming off their best win of the year. They just absolutely ruined the Pats.
31-0.
I still think that game. I still think that division's getting won at 9-8. The Saints are 3-2 to their credit, so the Falcons are 3-2, and I guess the Bucs are going to stay at 3-1. Do they have a bye this week?
The Bucs were on a bye, yeah.
That's such an early bye. Week 5, that's
the worst.
Tough.
That's the worst time
Unless
to get
you're a
bye.
team that's banged up, it's a terrible time to have a bye.
Yeah.
Unless you're a team that's quarterback's out and you need to bye a week and whatever. Otherwise, nah.
Not real interested in that. I still think we've looked through everybody in the NFC South has the softest schedule on the planet. So at least the one benefit they all have is they play no one. Because the NFC really is just like, it's a smaller group of teams that can compete in the NFC than the AFC. Like it's not nearly as many teams that you believe are really good teams as you do in the AFC, where you're like, yeah, I can talk myself into a few different ones that are just kind of floating around there. We don't have to get back into our who we think's going to win the South part because we didn't put a bet on that. The only bet we put is on which team was going to be worse, the Raiders or the Broncos.
Yeah.
And right now, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
They're both terrible. We both bet on absolute losers to be bad. And
they both suck. They're both terrible.
Worst teams
yeah,
in the AFC.
I am on the Saints for the South. I did have that preseason. We'll see how that's going to go down to the wire, too. But yeah, you on the show, you and I, this Raiders-Broncos, who will finish above each other in the AFC West, might come down to the last week. They're both absolutely pathetic. And there's reports that the Broncos might shop a couple of their players, right? They might trade Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, Who knows who else?
Well, Chris Jones was trying to get Frank Clark to come over. You want Frank Clark back? I feel like I don't need a reunion with every player.
By the way, you know who's still in free agency? Carlos Dunlap. All that time. He's still just sitting out there, just chilling, just waiting around, just in case.
What's he doing?
I wondered if he wanted to play football still. Like maybe he's just, he got his 100 sacks, he got his ring.
Got a ring, got a bonus.
Good.
Called it a day.
He'll wait until they make the playoffs and then hey, by the way, Carlos, you want to...
Maybe if, contender has some more injuries on the defensive line.
For depth? Yeah.
Fortunately, the Chiefs are about to add more depth by getting Charles Omenihu back here in 2 weeks or a week. That's the position the Chiefs are in now.
Yeah, they're actually getting more, because again, as you pointed out, so for, how many games this year have they had that they've been missing one of their top 3 defenders? Let's agree right now that their top 3 defenders, just so we're not getting an argument about that. Bolton, Chris Jones, and Trent McDuffie. Let's just say that those are, how many games have they had all 3 of those guys on the field at the same time? 2?
Just week 2, right?
Yeah, just week 2. No Bolton the other ones, no Chris Jones week 1. And they're still one of the best defensive units. Maybe 2 and 3. They're still one of the best defensive units in the NFL. And they haven't had Charles Omenihu, their biggest offseason signing on defense.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, we will get to what's trending, get you caught up what's going on around sports, and the end of game penalties once again getting brought up with the Chiefs, because we all know, right, that the Chiefs just have the refs on their side. That's what I'm told nationally. We'll dive into that next.
There's Kelsey to the end zone.
Cody and Gold brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
We have James and Josiah from American Topsoil. Guys, what month is best for planting new grass?
Any month that ends in R. Laying down fresh soil before seeding is the best way to get ahead of the game. Our rich topsoil is great for leveling yards, and our pulverized soil creates a perfect seed bed for new grass.
So how do I know how much soil I need?
Our Power Wheelbarrow service assures that our customers are getting the exact amount of soil they need, exactly where they need it, and that's all they'll pay for.
How can I set up my delivery with American Topsoil?
Visit AmericanTopsoil.com or give us a call at 913-888-SOIL.
American Topsoil, family owned and operated with more than 30 years, delivering great topsoil with their hassle-free Power Wheelbarrow service. Call 913-888-SOIL. That's 913-888-SOIL. Or online at AmericanTopsoil.com. Great topsoil, great service, American Topsoil.
When it comes to beef, nothing tops world-class highly marbled Wagyu. Booth Creek's Wagyu Meat Market is now open in Overland Park, and it is time to elevate your beef. Their farm-to-fork commitment brings this intensely rich and flavorful beef from the tall grass prairies north of Manhattan, Kansas, directly to your table. Come into what our customers are calling the jewelry store of beef and taste the difference. Our in-store experts are sampling freshly seared Wagyu 7 days a week, located in the shops at Deer Creek Woods, 135th and Metcalf.
Get a new car at a used car price during our 2023 surplus sale. I'm Jeff Davis, owner of Volkswagen Lease Summit. We have huge discounts on all remaining 23 Volkswagen models.
Get up to $4,000 off the 23 Taos, $5,000 off the 23 Tiguan, $6,000 off the 23 Atlas, and up to $10,000 off the ID4 EV.
Get our lowest prices of the year at the #1 VW dealer in the Midwest. Visit VWLeaseSummit.com.
Claim based on 2022 VW retail reports. Financing through VCI OAC.
The Rated R superstar Adam Copeland makes his AEW in-ring debut.
This Tuesday, AEW returns to the Kansas City area on a special night.
It's Tuesday. You know what that means?
AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday and Rampage take over the Cable Dahmer Arena.
Kansas City is on fire tonight.
For a massive night of elite professional wrestling action.
Wow.
The Rated R superstar Adam Copeland makes his AEW in-ring debut when he battles Luchasaurus.
I am standing in an AEW ring.
In a rematch, the international champion Rey Fenix takes on Jon Moxley.
My God, listen to that.
The AEW Women's Champion Saraya will defend the gold against Shida.
It is Title Tuesday.
Powerhouse Hobbs takes on Jericho. Jay White battles Hangman Page. And who will be the #1 contender for the TNT Championship when Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson face off?
What a match!
Don't miss AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday at the Cable Dahmer Arena. Tickets are on sale now. Go to AEWTix.com. Card subject to change.
Your brain is an amazing thing.
But as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times national survey of pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It's time for the fall haul at Northern Tool and Equipment. Get your hands on tough tools at prices that are tough to ignore. Got plans? Cancel them. Trucks in the shop? Borrow someone else's. Don't like saving money? Right. So head to the fall haul at Northern Tool. Back up the truck for the season's biggest event and save on generators, power tools, trailers, and more. Shop in-store or at northerntool.com. We're made for this.
O'Reilly Auto Parts' new Brake Best Select Pro brand raises the bar for the best aftermarket domestic brake pads and rotors available. For vehicle-specific friction formulations, Quiet-Tech noise-canceling shims, and stainless steel hardware, choose Brake Best Select Pro. Professional-grade brakes from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Listen up, this is so easy. Do you want the most money for your used car? Do you want a hassle-free process? Of course you do. Give Me the VIN is A+ rated by the BBB. That's Better Business Bureau, baby, and thousands of online reviews. Give Me the VIN will beat your written CarMax offer or write you a check for $100. It's that simple. Get the most money for your used car right now at GiveMeTheVIN.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Lowe's knows how to save pros time and money. Right now, get 15% off select gelled win windows and patio doors. And there's more. Earn 3 times MVP's bonus points on select Klein tools. Visit us in-store or online for more deals you can't beat. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Offer valid 10/5 through 10/11. Selection varies by location. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 10/27.
Yo, J Balvin here. Verizon just hooked me up with a new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium. How can you get one? By switching to my plan at your Verizon store, get the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro on them. When you trade in any iPhone, any model, any condition, guaranteed. And listen to my new song, Dientes, on your way to get the new iPhone 15 Pro.
Don't miss out. Switch to my plan from Verizon today. It's your Verizon. $999.99, 128 gigabyte only. Device payment purchase or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in or promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey, it's Travis Kelce.
This is Taylor Swift.
You're listening to the official broadcast partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app. What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Of course, number one on What's Trending, it's a Red Monday here on Cody and Gold. The Chiefs get to 4-1, and Rashee Rice found the end zone to put the Chiefs up 20-13 at one point. This is what Patrick Mahomes had to say about the rookie making a play after an earlier miss.
We've been trying to just keep those young guys learning. Learning versus coverage, not always going to be perfect. And I thought he did a great job. And it was right after, I think, the one that went over the top that we didn't work on that one, and he saw it, made adjustment, and made a play on the next one. And so that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a lot of guys that, as they get reps, learning from, I don't want to say mistakes, but learning from the miscues or whatever you want to call it, and then executing the next play. And they got to know that I'm going to keep firing it to them. I mean, that's just my mentality, is I'm going to keep throwing the ball to them. And I think you saw a lot of young guys step up and make plays today.
Keep putting Rashee Rice out there, please. 30% of the snaps. I'd like to see that like 45% of the snaps uptick this week, this Thursday against Denver.
Yeah, please. I mean, you absolutely want to see Rashee Rice get more touches. But that's also because the other wide receivers aren't doing much with him right now. Sky Moore and MVS just haven't done much with those snaps so far. Next up on What's Trending, according to Seth Davis over at The Messenger, Remember, the Messenger, one of the most reliable sources on the internet, they broke the Taylor Swift Travis
They did.
Kelce
They're the
news.
real deal now.
So I definitely take them serious. Seth Davis saying that the Big 12 and Gonzaga have resumed what he called, quote, high-level conference realignment talks with the possibility of Gonzaga joining the Big 12 as early as next year for basketball. Look, they are already the best basketball conference in all of the college landscape. Dropping Gonzaga in there will only further solidify that. I'll be honest, it's objectively good. I think you have to worry about football and conference realignment. But part of the reason I think the Big 12 survived this run and the Pac-12 didn't is because they had something they were known for. They were known as being elite at basketball. So maintain that stature. You're never going to be the best conference in football. That honor belongs to the SEC, and if it doesn't belong to them, it belongs to the Big Ten. So
I always love hearing high-level talks. When was the last time you had high-level talks?
Never.
With
I work
anybody?
on sports radio.
High-level
I've never had to
talks.
have a high-level talk in my life.
High-level
What's
talk.
the most intense talk you've had in your life?
I don't know.
Did your parents do a proper birds and bees conversation? Mine didn't.
No, there's nothing formal there.
No,
that would be a high-level talk.
That would be a high-level talk. Are you kidding?
That's not high-level talk.
What do you mean?
High-level talk, you're talking with very important people higher up in, like, business or whatever, or company or negotiations or whatever.
Can't say I've ever had
high-level
one of those.
talk, maybe contract negotiations, I guess.
That's not for our. It's not. I mean,
that's closer to high level than talking to your parents about sex.
That is way closer.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What feels like it's got
not
significantly more
it's
on the
not
line?
high level. It's not a high level
That's
talk.
not high stakes.
High stakes
well,
talk.
It is high stakes. Yeah, there are high stakes there.
Good one, right?
There definitely are. Thank you, Drew. Thank you for that.
Don't
All
forget,
right.
by the way, AM radio can help you with any of those problems.
That's right.
So.
If you missed Trash of the Day earlier, there's a very new study out, but it's reliable. It's credible. We stand behind it. That is out there. You think I'm lying? You can check it out. It says AM waves help with erectile dysfunction. So listen to 610 AM longer, and you'll stay hard longer,
Ever
I
since
guess.
I started listening to Cody and Gold, my sex life has never been better.
That's exactly right.
I have already asked Reagan to make a shirt for us in our Cody and Gold shop. They're working on it. I think the current slogan that may be in the running is Cody and Gold, listen longer and harder.
There you go.
I would buy that shirt and I would wear it.
Oh, yeah. I think that's
Immediately.
the shirt. I think that's the shirt. So just make sure, listen to 610 AM specifically,
Yeah.
Especially, the more you listen, it's better for everybody. Better for everybody. Next up on What's Trending, MLB postseason continues tonight. You got the Phillies, who are up 1-0 on the Atlanta Braves. Suddenly the Braves, World Series favorites coming into the postseason. They need to get one at home after dropping Game 1. And then the Arizona Diamondbacks just destroyed Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers in Game 1 of their series. So that's NLDS Game number 2. And then tomorrow you'll shift back over to the AL side, where the series is tied up at a game apiece. Astros and Twins. And then Baltimore and Texas. Baltimore in big trouble. They already are down 2-0 against the Rangers. And now the series shifts over to Texas.
Yeah, it does feel like that series might be over. Good for Dayton Moore and company, I guess. Former Royals pitcher Chris Young. And, of course, the guy who's been helping him out this year, Dayton Moore. Next up on What's Trending, Anthony Richardson is getting he's getting a second opinion on his current grade 3 AC joint sprain. Could miss a month, according to some reports. It's unsure exactly what that's looking at right now. Look, it seems like AC joint sprain for a quarterback is a particularly bad injury on that front. It's been a devastating year for every rookie quarterback not named C.J. Stroud. Bryce Young has struggled. Anthony Richardson's been hurt. C.J. Stroud still hasn't even thrown an interception. His team has been far more competitive than most people thought they would be. But yeah, this is bad news for Anthony Richardson.
This is like his third injury, isn't it?
Yeah. What was a concussion?
Yeah, he's gotten hurt multiple, and he had an ankle sprain, I think.
He's been banged up already, and this is the same injury that Derek Carr was diagnosed with. Carr's playing through it, but it sounds like the Colts could keep Anthony Richardson out for 4 to 6 weeks, but that's why the second opinion is going on. Lastly on What's Trending, the 2028 LA Olympic Games will add baseball, softball, cricket, and flag football. And there's a proposal for lacrosse and squash. Never played squash, don't really know how it works at all. All the other ones, cricket, I at least have somewhat of an idea of how the game is played. Could never do it. But squash, I literally haven't. What is squash?
No idea.
It's like racquetball?
Is it?
I think so.
Who are we getting, by the way, for flag football? I mean, are we talking NFL players?
No,
or I don't think so either.
Retired, baby. Put some retired players. There's no way any NFL team is letting current
XFL
players.
guys?
Yeah, maybe it's that. It's guys that didn't make the league. I mean, get some retired guys. Just put Chad Johnson out there still. I don't care.
It's like racquetball or something. I guess it could be entertaining. They're good athletes, so at least they got that going for them.
AJ McCarron throwing dimes to Ocho Cinco.
Johnny Manziel can be the quarterback for the flag football team for the U.S. Let's go.
How long until we get like video games as an Olympic sport? Remember
Esports? You mean it's esports?
Yeah, esports.
Stop. No.
Dude,
No.
right now, people
I
used to
don't
say that
think-
about like things like snowboarding.
I know.
The whole
True,
X
I
Games
don't-
and all this
true.
thing. I don't think it's as crazy as I'm making it sound, man.
I think within the next 20 years, it's definitely possible.
They have breakdancing in the Summer Olympics this year. They can't play.
Scholarships are handed out for esports now,
I'm
man.
not saying you're wrong, but it's not an Olympic sport. I'm not saying you're wrong. It
who
probably
draws that
happens.
line?
It probably happens, but it's not a sport. It's just not.
But it is a sport. It's esport. It's a sport.
Flag football is easily the most interesting because if they get some
Yes.
high-level athletes at some point in one of these ones, that's going to be fun as hell. If you get, I want to see Patrick Mahomes get a gold medal in flag football.
Dude,
Are you kidding? Of course I want to see that. Doesn't he want to compete in that?
I don't want that happening until he retires. I'm sorry. I don't want Patrick Mahomes in the Olympics. Dude, they
Can
won't
you
even
imagine if Andy,
Cody.
if he did something, if he did get hurt?
They won't let him play basketball. You think they're going to
This
let
is
him go
football.
play?
This is the sport. he
Can you
plays.
imagine?
Even worse. Even worse.
Do high schools have flag football, by the way, as sports?
Backyard football. I don't think so.
In Florida, they have flag football everywhere. Every single high school has flag football. It's a really big deal in
they're
Florida.
handing
In
out.
some of the smaller parts of Missouri and Kansas, they do a lot of. They do some flag football. They
High
also just
schools
do,
are getting into it a
7-on-7
lot.
or
I'm just telling you, Drew, if there's full ride scholarships for esports taking place in this country. So it becoming an Olympic sport is not crazy.
I'm not
at
saying
all.
you're
There's
wrong, but
billions of
it's just
dollars
not-
involved. Billions of dollars.
I don't want to see an Olympic. I don't want to see I don't want to tune in at 9 a.m. to
You don't
guys
have to.
playing Rocket League.
But you don't have to. I don't know. You think I watch the ping pong on the Olympics and stuff? No, but it's an Olympic sport. You know?
No, yeah, you're right. It's going to happen, but it just shouldn't be included in the group. At least like.
But you're good with squash.
Yeah, it's more of a sport than sitting in a chair.
I'm just checking. That's what
And
makes
I play
sure.
video games, so
Squash approved.
Just saying.
That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. It's a Red Monday brought to you by the Xfinity 10G. Get a reliable home network so everyone can work, stream, and game at the same time.
Maybe one of these days we'll have. You know what I'm waiting for? The like Pacific Rim version of Olympic sports, where all these robotics teams and these like people have been building these like terrifying robots. They just get to like box each other, right? Robots fighting to the death for a gold medal.
People would love watching that.
I mean, BattleBots was a very popular show, but I want to be like like full blown like borderline boxers. That way we can watch the boxing without thinking I've ruined this person's life with several concussive blows.
Wait,
to
so
the head.
you would rather watch the robots box than
I'm just saying down the road I would be entertained by it.
than like a heavyweight real fight? What?
I'm not saying
It's because there's no
necessarily
repercussions.
saying more. I'm just saying, yeah, there's no health repercussions.
the guy
The guy
can
just
just-
punch in the head.
By that logic, then NFL should just be robots too, though.
There's a slightly. I'm not saying the NFL is not safe either. I'm just saying boxing is just the design of the entire sport.
Yeah, I've always we can always come up with things to make things safer. But if people want to do, we've always talked about this. Let adults make adult decisions, right? I mean, we can't come up with safeguards, but let adults make adult decisions. Same thing goes with boxing.
Okay.
They know the risk. They chose to take it. Doesn't mean we shouldn't try to find ways to make it safer.
Somebody says they give scholarships for fishing doesn't make an Olympic sport. At one point, fishing was an Olympic sport.
I don't know how many years it's been, though, but yeah.
Well,
Fishing's more of a sport than video games are.
Last a sport in the 1900 Olympics, according to this article.
It's been a little while.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's been a little bit since angling had the Olympics on the mind, but
Hey, there's a lot of
hey, look,
cheating.
baseball got knocked out of the Olympics for a while.
came
What
back.
happens?
There's a lot of cheating that goes on in fishing. We had a couple.
Oh, that
stories.
guy eating throwing all those stones in his fish's mouth.
Guys went to jail, didn't they? There
Yeah.
was some competition they
won
defrauded
tens of thousands of dollars,
Yeah,
dude.
they put
Like a
weights.
boat.
They put weights inside of the fish when it was weighing. People started catching on, and then they cut open the fish, and a bunch of weights dropped out, and they were cheating, making it seem like they caught bigger fish.
How desperate do you have to be to do that?
Anything for money, you know that. People do desperate things. People.
I mean, if
turns
I
out,
thought for
turns
sure
out
you were
people.
getting
Turns
caught.
out people dress up in wolf costumes and rob banks. Desperate times.
We got an update on that in a while. Anybody?
Court system slow, man. You know that. It's gonna take some time.
Court system slow.
It's gonna take judicial system.
The
in
wheels
the
of
US takes
justice
time.
move slow, you
It
know?
does, yeah. It's gonna take a little bit of time. I'm sure we'll hear about the latest update. Don't you worry. Nothing's gonna happen involving Chiefsaholic without there being an update.
Yeah. If something happens, you'll find out about it on this show. That's for sure. It's ours or Pat McAfee's. Those are really the two main
That's right.
sources for all Chiefsaholic
I think
related
so.
news.
I think that's fair. Thinking of conversations that you're now going to hear, I think, Cody, going forward all the time, and we just have to embrace it. We, as in sports fans in Kansas City.
Sure.
And that is embrace the hate that the Chiefs are the beneficiary of every call now. That's what I'm told. That the officials have come together and said, you know what? We love the Chiefs now. They have to win this game. That's what I've been told now, that any call that might go the Chiefs' way, it's because it's rigged. And that's how you know you've made it. We've warned you guys about this a couple times. I think we've all talked about over the last couple of years, embrace the hate. The latest was at the end of the game yesterday against Minnesota. Number one, L'Jarius Sneed took his helmet off. He should have been flagged. I'm not debating that. But also, the Chiefs would have still retained possession. The fact that the pass interference call was called off. Not the first time we've ever seen that happen in sports. I love how we try to reinvent things and act as if we've never seen a flag picked up in the history of the NFL.
Especially
happens
if,
all the time.
30 yards. And we've also seen them thrown after for intentional grounding or not intentional grounding or all those things.
Happens all the time.
Look, I think when you're going back at this, it was the talk of national NFL talk because at the end of a close game with the Vikings, in which the Vikings, by the way, would have still had to score, and the Chiefs would have had to not score and all these things. Like, it might not even change the outcome of the game anyway. They did more to hurt themselves than even if the ref got the one call wrong did. Let's start with the Sneed one. The Chiefs still would have maintained possession of the ball, which seemed to be a fact lost on a lot of the people complaining about that very call. But also, it was like, I see how it got lost in the moment. They were more focused on whether or not they were going to call a very controversial penalty at the end of the game that could have had a major impact on the decision of it. The rules analyst on the broadcast is like, yeah, I don't really see much there. And the rest of this is that game had way more penalties called for the Chiefs.
10.
Several of them were very much legitimate. Not even here to argue. Bunch of penalties were like, absolutely. But they got called for pass interference when Justin Jefferson just couldn't walk, tripped over his own feet. So missed calls happen in a game. Yes, sometimes it feels like the Chiefs get more calls at the end of the game. The only reason it feels that way is because how often they win. They always make you pay. There's probably been calls that have gone against the Chiefs late in these games, and you forgot about them because the Chiefs still won.
And that's why this conversation came up, admittedly, right, when the Patriots were always winning. It seemed like they were getting calls all the time, and it was, the refs just love Tom Brady. But we are all guilty of saying that. This is what happens when your team wins all the time. You're right, though, that it's because the Chiefs, Cody, take advantage when the window is cracked open a little bit. They pounce. They take advantage of it. So it's not the Chiefs are more noticeable because now I think it's just become part of the narrative of NFL fan to where now any call ever that seems questionable, automatically it's rigged, right? This is just the easy thing for NFL fans to say. But it's because the Chiefs are able to take advantage of mistakes by their opponent. Good teams do that. There's a reason why they win essentially 12 games every year now. Easy. They make it look easy. The teams that win 8 or 9, you know what? They didn't take advantage at times of said opportunity. That's why they're mediocre football teams. The great teams, especially ones that are about to maybe make historical runs, as in kicking off a dynasty if they can get to the Super Bowl this year, those teams, we pay more attention, and those teams make you pay. And that's why the Chiefs, it's more noticeable. We just got to embrace it.
I think Kansas City's not used to being the villain. Like, just as a city, we're not used to being the villain. When the Royals were going through their World Series runs, they were still the lovable underdogs. The boys from Kansas City, look at them go. They didn't win the World Series the second time. People weren't sick of them the second time around. They were still happy that the small town, small club went on to did it. And for the longest time, the Chiefs were not this like NFL. They have plenty of good teams over the years, but they weren't some NFL powerhouse dynastic run. People hate dynasties. The Chiefs are that. They're the best team in the NFL and have been for 5 years. As a result of that, people are going to hate you.
It's a weird spot to be in, isn't it? Like you said, we're not used to it.
It's kind of nice.
It's never did I think growing up, you grew up here, like going to Chiefs games, did I think that fast forward 30 years from, at that time or whatever, that the team that we all rooted for as kids now would be the team everybody thinks the league is rigged for. Because they're that damn good. Never thought, the Patriots were that, the Yankees, the system's set up. The Chiefs are now the team everybody thinks the system is set up for, which is hilarious.
The Taylor Swift thing has only amplified it.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, only amplified people's conspiracy that the league is at, because now the league also needs these Taylor Swift fans. They need these Taylor Swift fans to be a part of this conversation. Otherwise, what are we going to do? So we've got to now even ratchet up the conspiracy. Look, they should have called Sneed. I'm not going to argue. It gets them because it had been a half the distance to the goal situation. It probably gets the Vikings maybe 8 yards closer, right? Maybe 8 yards closer to getting the first down. They still had no timeouts and a minute to run the field, and they couldn't get it done. Right?
Yeah, this won't be the last time this comes up. I'm sure whether it's Thursday night, maybe it doesn't, because hopefully the Chiefs are just cruising against a horrific Denver Broncos team that they have owned since 2016. But it'll come up again, especially with the amount of primetime games, or if it's not primetime at, Sunday Night Football, it's the prime game in the afternoon, which is what the Chiefs just had against Minnesota. It had the A crew of Nance and Romo. I think at times even the broadcast crew, probably Cody doesn't help the situation because of the lack of clarity in the rules that will fire up an opposing fan base when you don't get a great explanation and it makes it on the broadcast seem like it's something that it's not, and then they have to establish a correction a little bit later on. It's just it happened when the Patriots were winning a lot. It happened when the Warriors were winning a lot. Happened with any dynasty in sports that there's this thought that something is set up for said team. It's always hilarious. We've all done it as sports fans. It's just now your team is the one that everybody thinks is actually the beneficiary, which is a hilarious spot to be in.
Like a week ago against the Jets, it wasn't luck that the referees called the hold on MVS. Patrick Mahomes himself said after the game, I threw that ball because I saw Sauce Gardner constricting him, holding him from his movement to the outside, and I threw that ball because I knew I was going to get the call. It's not an accident. He is creating, and this is the most important thing, Patrick Mahomes creates a fair amount of his own luck. That's just the reality of how good of a player he is.
Sure.
He creates a good portion of it because of how great he is. The other part about this is that now that I'm in this position, I'll admit, there's probably some time in my life that I'm like, this is enough with Tom Brady. But now I understand even more now than ever, it's not rigged against it. It's just easy to give the call to a team you've seen win over and over and over and over and over again. You're more likely to believe that Mahomes didn't just throw that ball to nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's that.
He's a great quarterback.
I don't even know if it's that, Cody. It's just that they take great teams take advantage.
Yeah, they do. You still have to win the game, even after the call.
People don't talk about blown calls, perceived blown calls at the end of games if that same team still lost. No. The Chiefs are able to jump on the mistake, and that's because they're a great team, and they have been a great team. The one nice thing here on a Monday, not only are the Chiefs coming off a win, they're 4-1, feeling good, short week. Now they're going to take on a terrible Broncos team at Arrowhead on Thursday night. This is the first week. I'm going to mention it briefly here, and then I promise the rest of the week we won't talk about it. Juwan Taylor.
Oh.
No noise. The only Taylor people are talking about a little bit is Taylor.
Zero penalties.
Is Taylor Swift not being there? Because Juwan Taylor, it was nice. It was nice. For the first time this year, we got through a game and nobody's upset about alignment from Juwan Taylor or the refs picking on him. He lost. Andy Reid didn't have to pull him out of the game.
That's a whole other thing about the ref. They were getting picked on for 3 weeks on one player. It was nice. Honestly, the offensive line, they let up, 2 sacks, which was more than they had given up at any other stage.
Is he
in the
still
entire
the fewest
season?
sack quarterback in the league? He was heading into the game.
Yes, he still is. He had a pretty good margin on that.
But it's just nice.
He's still the least sacked quarterback in the NFL.
I think that was a huge game for Juwan Taylor because of that. I think it also takes the microscope off him a little bit to get through one game with it not being the discussion at all. That's a big deal.
Honestly, that's all it was. For as many penalties they had in this game, and they had a lot, it was nice. I'm kind of with you. It was nice. Technically, Patrick Mahomes is tied with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Who plays tonight, though? He's going to get sacked.
And also missed a game, so...
He's going to get sacked tonight.
Yeah. And it doesn't really... Because, again, he didn't play, so it doesn't really... He missed a game, so Mahomes is still being sacked less on average than any other quarterback in the NFL.
I will be stunned if Jimmy Garoppolo does not get sacked tonight.
Me too.
Spoiler, if he doesn't get sacked, the Raiders somehow win tonight. The Packers have to sack him tonight, at least once.
You and I both have on we both have fantasy implications and financial implications.
Sure,
I guess I got to put something else in the game.
Sure, a lot of people do, because a lot of people have Devontae Adams, who's playing.
I was excited to watch that game last night. I was like, all right, Cowboys, Niners. I want to see how the Cowboys do against what's been this Niner. It's like halftime. You couldn't even watch that game anymore. I mean, they were so... You know what it is about the 49ers that scare me? They are so fast on defense and hit so hard.
Fred Warner's insane.
Like every single player on their defense is incredibly fast, and every single player on their defense, it's like every Cowboys player who touched the ball got hit by like 4 Niners players. It was never just one guy.
Yeah, they're running
It was like
all over.
half of the damn defense was in on every tackle. It was insane for a big portion of that game. But that's the other, like those calls, like we talk about these good teams. The Niners keep playing like this, they'll get some favorable calls too. But every team gets them. The Chiefs in that game too and all those things. It's just, I get so tired of it. I've told you before, and this is really more so. The refs is the loser's soundtrack. It just is. Our guy Vinny Pasquantino, who plays a professional sport, wouldn't blame it on umpires if they were going to go down.
And admittedly, by the way, we've all been there before. We've all been there before.
And
as
there's
sports fans.
way more egregious games than this.
We've all been there before as sports fans, but it is more evident than ever this year with the way things are going. Because now I think we've realized it's going to happen every single time because the narrative in the league currently from non-Chiefs fan is that they're the luckiest team and that they get every call. Not that Patrick Mahomes is freaking awesome and the Chiefs have the best coach in football and that their defense now is playing like a top 10 defense and it's the best all-around roster Mahomes has had in his career. And that once again, the Chiefs are going to be a huge factor in the Super Bowl conversation, if not in it themselves.
It's a cop-out for your team's not good enough.
Yeah.
Is what that is. There's only one, the only game that I can think of theoretically. I've never, as a fan, I guess I could say, I've never blamed a game on the refs because you think of it from what Vinny said last time we had him on. The referees never cost you a game. Never. The only time that I can think of it is that, what was it, the Rams-Saints game?
Yeah, very few instances.
Maybe.
Yeah, or when they had the replacement refs.
The Fail Mary.
That was bad.
It's not that it never happens, but it's so rare, and you have to take in every other portion of the game to even be in the conversation for it to matter, that it becomes very difficult to go to the other side of it.
Coming up next, the one scare we did all have yesterday, and it sounds like the Rangers have caught on to something you and I were all about just a year or two ago. We'll explain what it is next.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Tune in to hear Andy Reid every Monday at noon, exclusively on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, it's Bob Fesco. This NFL season, Crown Royal is giving back to the generous hosts that make game day royal. To the fans that open their doors and celebrate Kansas City game day, cheering on our tight end with a plate full of burnt ends. So raise a glass for the hosts of every watch party and kick off with Crown. Because Crown Royal believes if you live generously, life will treat you royally. Visit crownroyal.com to find out how Crown is living generously all season long. Please drink responsibly.
It's time for the Fall Haul at Northern Tool and Equipment. Get your hands on tough tools at prices that are tough to ignore. Got plans? Cancel them. Trucks in the shop? Borrow someone else's. Don't like saving money? Right. So head to the Fall Haul at Northern Tool. Back up the truck for the season's biggest event and save on generators, power tools, trailers, and more. Shop in-store or at northerntool.com. We're made for this.
O'Reilly Auto Parts' new Brake Best Select Pro brand raises the bar for the best aftermarket domestic brake pads and rotors available. For vehicle-specific friction formulations, Quiet-Tech noise-canceling shims, and stainless steel hardware, choose Brake Best Select Pro. Professional-grade brakes from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Mobile Wave, your personal computer repair experts. Virus removal, slow startup repair, data recovery, and more. Diagnostic fees are waived for all first-time customers. Located in Lenexa. Online at mobilewaverepairs.com. Mobile Wave. Quick repairs, premium quality, affordable.
Well, I want to tell you about another winner. It's my friends at Window World. They are ranked #1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They're also the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs. So you know the Chiefs are a winner. And Window World, they have windows that are one of 2 windows that are locked in with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. In just over 20 years of business, they have improved the look and thermal efficiency over 52,000 homes in Kansas City. Plus, your windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all your parts, glass breakage, and labor. It also uses a double-strength glass. It gives it that extra strength that is not commonly used in your normal replacement windows. They're giving an incredible deal right now. They're offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. 18 months, that's a year and a half. So do me this favor. Give them a call for a free home estimate. Check out the website, and they can show you how they are simply the best for less. Fall is right around the corner. You know winter is going to be here before you know it. I want you to get ready, and the best way to do that is with my friends at Window World.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options that include spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/610Bob and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL and of 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car right in your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
Discover, this is Danny.
Hi, it's Jen Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Are you hungry? 'Cause everyone left after the asparagus sorbet.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart, and I have a question for you. You know that unwelcome guest everyone wishes would just leave already? That's COVID-19. That's why I got a COVID shot this season, designed for recent variants. Got it?
Learn more and schedule this season's updated COVID-19 shot at vaccines.gov.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
This report is brought to you by Drug Enforcement Administration in Kansas City.
Fentanyl is on the rise, making drug overdoses a leading cause of death. Join the fight against drugs. Visit DEA.gov/careers to learn about open positions and how to apply.
Party on, party people, let me hear some noise.
PCs in the house, jump, rejoices. There's a party over here, a party over there. Wave your hands.
Hanging out here on a Monday, Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tap, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to the random question of the day here in about 8 minutes or so. Also, someone's making a return trip to Kansas City on Thursday night. No, I don't think it's Taylor Swift. I don't think it's not confirmed. I promise. I'm talking about somebody else. Although thinking of Taylor Swift,
she can come if she wants.
We did get a little scare from her boyfriend yesterday. Ooh. Right, boyfriend. We're gonna just go with that. Travis Kelce, who at that point in time when he slipped, we didn't know it was the ankle at the time because the broadcast said it was his foot. You're thinking the worst. You're thinking knee. You don't know what it is. The way
he was acting certainly made it seem like it was a devastating injury.
Threw his helmet on the ground. It seemed like we might be talking about the last game of the season for Travis Kelce. Fortunately, he comes back out after halftime, jogs on to the sideline. He's trying to sneak onto the field a couple times. Chiefs are saying, no. Keep stretching it out. Keep staying loose. Ultimately, he gets back in the game, as we know. He ends up getting a touchdown on the drive. By the way, what ended up being the much-needed touchdown because it was 27 points. The Chiefs won 27-20. And
covered the spread.
Now it seems like, okay, disaster avoided. We'll see how swollen that ankle is tomorrow, today, etc., and what his status is for Thursday, which I would guess he's at very least questionable, if not out. But also questionable for Thursday is my guess. But it sure seemed like that was the moment, man, we're like, uh-oh. This offense, the minute he came back in the game, you saw a difference. Now, they had one of their biggest drives of the game, actually, when he wasn't on the field for the majority of it. But you still saw the difference once Travis was on the field.
They are, and again, it continues to be a very stark reminder. Of course, they're better with Travis Kelce, healthy and playing well in order to do it. I think the most impressive part is I didn't notice a tangible difference in his play after he came back with the ankle injury. I mean, he could barely walk getting off the field. I was concerned. I honestly, and I don't think I was alone. I got at least a couple of texts, and I saw multiple people earlier who said they sent some of these texts, which is like, well, that's it. Let's close up shop. Because Travis Kelce is that important of a player to the Chiefs. Sure. That the second he goes down, no one outside of Patrick Mahomes himself going down will make you feel more deflated about a team's Super Bowl chances in Kansas City than him.
Yeah, this is what Patrick Mahomes had to say about Travis leaving the game for a short period of time.
It was a little weird because it happened right before half. And so we obviously had that 2-minute drive. And then you get back to the locker room. They're looking at it and stuff like that. But I knew, obviously all of it hurts, and if Travis is out of the game, it hurts, but I knew he was trying to get back in, and I feel like Travis has the same mindset as I do. You give him the window of, he can get back in the game, he's going to be back in the game, and so competitor, man. That's why he's one of the greatest, is that he'll battle through stuff like that and came back and made a lot of great catches for us.
Yeah, this is where anytime in fairness, when we talk about contract discussions for any player in the league, and this goes back to the Chris Jones stuff, I told you I would have handled it differently, but you know why players are fighting tooth and nail for every last dollar? It's because of the amount of stress they put on their body. And in cases like Travis Kelce and Chris Jones and any of these other elite players, and already a league where you have to be elite just to be in the damn league. But I'm talking about a Hall of Famer, maybe the greatest tight end of all time, to put your body through that, to just want to be back on the field where I can't imagine the pain tolerance you have to have, number one. But you said it, Cody. He looked, once he was on the field,
looked like Travis Kelce.
He looked, you always mention Willie Roaf, right? Willie Roaf, one of the great offensive linemen in this league's history. You walking around town on the plaza, you're like, how does this guy even move? He can barely walk, right? Big dude can barely walk. And then on the football field, he's moving around. You're like, what the hell? And this is why he was a great offensive lineman. A Hall of Famer, right?
He's saving all of his energy for the game. I was a little surprised. I think the only thing that kind of surprised me about the Kelce thing, and then we can get to the Swifties end of this.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot they can do to help us here, and it sounds like they already are. The only other thing I was surprised to see is immediately people took this as the moment to say, all right, here's the signs of the cracking for Travis Kelce.
34 years old.
I know his age. I am familiar with his age. I'm familiar with some of the promises I have made on this show about his age. Very familiar. But a man is allowed to get a little dinged up in a football game and still assume that he'll be all right in the long run. He hyperextended his knee. Injuries happen sometimes. Missed one game, that's it.
He was just about a month removed from it, too. We were talking about it on Friday.
Yeah. Sometimes injuries, coupled with other injuries, hurts his ankle. I still think that the turf has something to do with that.
Maybe so.
Based on the video evidence. I also think it had something to do with Justin Jefferson's injury based on the video evidence. But let's, twist his ankle, missed 2 series, was immediately back on the field,
gets a touchdown,
led the team in receiving, got a touchdown, and we're like, this is the end? If this is the end, I guess we're all going to go out pretty happy. He's on pace still for 888 yards based on his yards per game and how many games they have remaining in the season.
Yep.
I'm basing it simply on that. Technically, he'd be on pace for like 750. He's more on pace for like 800, or it's like 800 instead of 880 or whatever, based on just yards per game and the number of games remaining for Travis Kelce. He'll get to close to 900 yards. Anyone? Okay, so I know I can't bet this now. Text line, we'll have to put this money in escrow, which is technically Alex Gold's Venmo account, because nobody has it. Would someone like to bet me that Travis Kelce doesn't get to 1,000? Because the truth is, he will. This is not the downfall of the great man. This
now,
is
you
just
have to admit, though,
Travis Kelce's dinged up.
You have to admit, though, on your projection, there's a very good chance that he's not going to play Thursday, though.
I really don't know. I'm even saying that. I'm still willing to take 1,000.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play him Thursday. Not because of all of the reason not because I'm worried about his age, just because an ankle injury a game after gets a little fat, and it's the Denver Broncos. If this was against the Bills, I'd probably have a different answer for you.
Travis is extremely not only gifted, but impressive pain tolerance. Last year, he didn't miss a game, but he said at the end of the season about how his body had never been beat up more than it was.
Yeah, I do remember him saying that.
At some point, this is where you and I always go back and forth. Like, at some point, though, I do wonder if even you can say it's the turf.
Mounting amount of those injuries gets to you.
You might be right that both of these are just freak injuries. Maybe so. I have no idea. Maybe they are. Some doctor would have to tell us of the percentage and risk and yada, yada, yada. Okay? I don't know. But you have to admit, if another one of the, like, even when keep calling them freak injuries where they avoid the big disastrous scare, at some point,
which again, it was very scary.
I think where it happens is, Cody, it's not like, you're right. We shouldn't be saying after he got hurt yesterday, like, oh, well, this is just going to happen all the time. It's not that for me. The concern is more just like the recovery, right? When you're older, 34 years old, is he able to bounce back as quick? Now, he just went back in that game and did it, but I think a lot of people, without even being a doctor, would tell you that the ankle is way worse this morning than it was later in the game, right? Because he was loose still, versus that flight home versus waking up this morning. That ankle's probably swollen like a you-know-what at this point.
Like, it's just, there's no doubt, but it's wild to me. Like, if people are like, hey, even Carrington's pile on to Travis decline because of the injury. It is wild to me. People are like, hey, he was hurt last year. Last year, that man finished with 110 catches.
I think they're just referencing his comment.
1,300, no, I know. And 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. So if you thought the decline was coming, we're 5 games into a season. He has had 7 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. He has had double-digit touchdown years, 3 of the last 5. No. He had 10 catches in the game. He just got hurt. Like, I'm having a hard time imagining that this, like, it just seems like it seems way premature to be like, oh, here's the decline. Because he got,
I'm with you on that.
Because he got hurt twice and missed 1 game?
I think there's got to be a balance, right? I think just because he got hurt doesn't mean you should think it's always ending now. But also, there has to be some recognition that he's 34 years old, and maybe there's these kind of weird things are going to happen a little bit more, and that what's the recovery time going to be? But to his credit, he continues to battle through it.
He played in that. That's the crazy. And if he plays on Thursday, it's like, recovery time what? The man's right back on the field on Thursday.
Yeah.
Denver's a pretty good defense, by the way, if you're looking to rack up some yardage.
If he does miss Thursday, then you're banking on him having at least 2 or 3 100-plus yard games then to get to that 1,000-yard mark.
True. It starts to get a little tricky.
Because he's right now he's on pace for 888, maybe a little bit more than that because there's a 17th game. But if he misses
11 games left,
if he misses again, then you're relying on him to have a couple of really big ones.
Let's see. Let's figure out exactly what he would need to average. How many would he have to average over the last 11 games? 70 yards a game. Okay, that's below, just to be clear, that is far below his, I think, career average.
But it's above what he's doing right now this year.
It's above what he's doing right now because he's averaging about 55 yards per game. I still don't think he was very healthy for those first
Nobody's questioning his career numbers. I think everybody's and people that are quote unquote doubting the yardage would just be referencing.
It's actually right at his career yardage. 71.4 yards per game. So you just have to have a career average the rest of the way.
But when we look at the wide receiver room and it not being able to help Travis out is he's option number 1. So everybody's trying to take him away because they know, well, Sky can't get open. Rashee Rice is still a rookie. He's getting there. And Justin Watson is more of a big play guy. Kadarius Toney is in and out of the lineup consistently. They don't have another guy right now who Patrick can go to. like you had with Tyreek Hill, of course, and some of the others who you had. I mean, last year you had a fully healthy Travis Kelce. You had, Kadarius Toney, who was a little bit more productive, at least it seemed like, last year than what he's been so far this year. So I think that also has hurt Travis in his ability to be able to get more than his average, if you will, that he's gotten so far this year.
Drew, I've seen now 3 different messages on our several different video streams. Again, you can catch us on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. 3 different comments. One has said, it looks like he might work roadside construction. One has said, what's with Drew and all the bright hoodies? Because remember, he's wearing like that, the one that looked like yellow on the stream last week. People think that you've got a thing for brightly colored clothing. Is that correct?
I don't think so.
I mean, it's his team that he roots for.
Yeah, it's the Bengals. Look,
that can't help that they just wore bright orange. Yeah.
I'm not walking around
confusing.
I'm not walking around with orange shorts. I'd rather not wear black on black.
We had Amazon. The game's on Thursdays on Amazon, and so they already had their video crew here. They were shooting some video of the morning show, and it'll be on, I guess, during the pregame coverage or whatever. I'm sure they were very confused when they came to Kansas City for Sports Talk Radio, and one of the first things they saw was someone wearing a Cincinnati Bengals hoodie in our building. Yeah, I would be a little confused as well.
They could have got your City Connect Bobby Wood Jr. jersey.
I am rocking that today. I got the shoes in I got to take a photo and send you, and it has room. I have the couple of the baseball cards framed up inside of it. It looks pretty awesome, I must say.
You're very happy with your purchase?
It looks pretty awesome.
Stolen from a listener?
Oh, I donated money to a charity and won a silent auction, man. But they're badass. I must say, like the way it turned out, it looks pretty cool.
Nice. I also think the one thing with the Travis is if it's week 17 and they got stuff locked up and Travis is at 940, I think they'll let him play to get to 1,000. I think that's 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons.
If he's that close. I
think it means
if he's
something.
like 150 away,
no.
But if he's within 60 to 80, I'm with you. That's probably a possibility. All right, let's get to the random question of the day.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Over on the text line, 913-586-7610. And on aforementioned video streams, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. The question I have today regards the Texas Rangers. Probably not what you were expecting. This is going to be a music one for the second time, but bear with me in the last week because this one's worth being a music one because according to Andrew Heaney, current starting pitcher for the Texas Rangers, when their team was going through a lull this year, they had one solution during their roller coaster of a season, which was to start having fun and playing Creed before games.
Like just the normal Creed songs.
The band Creed. That's correct.
Okay.
He also said that if Creed was played at the stadium on Tuesday or Wednesday and fans would start belting out the song, that would fire them up. First, this is incredible.
What? So you're
I still think Creed wasn't even back together. They weren't having these cruises. They were getting mentioned by the Rangers. Creed Humphrey and Creed the band's profile way up. No, we never did get an email.
We emailed the marketer for the Creed the band's cruise that they're having that's sold out. Try to get us on the cruise. We do our shows for like 5 days in the Caribbean or whatever from the Creed
tour.
Blast. We have never heard back. I don't think we're going to. So you're saying they're blasting stuff like this?
Because there's a hunger, a need to pancake.
I don't know if Drew's ever heard that song.
Oh, I have not. Okay, we're not going to play it all right now, but.
Let's make Creed's case. Come on,
I still know all the words to that.
You're telling me, I think we all do at this point. That song we all heard 100 million times while we were working on the video. Good for Creed, the band. Good for them. And for the Rangers, who, by the way, are in a great spot already.
They are in a great spot. The question I guess I have relates to this is just what your best pump-up song is. Let's say you're getting ready to, not in our case, work out very often, but you're going to go for a run.
Yeah, no kidding.
You're going to, whatever, right? Whatever the thing is that you need a little motivation, you listen to it. I think one I listen to that, I'm in a better mood and I'm ready to do something is Lose Yourself by Eminem. That one's got such a great dun, 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 where you're just like, okay, I'm interested in doing something. This probably follows a very similar genre to the Stadium Rock. I was looking for some slightly different answers for that, but I think Lose Yourself by Eminem is going to be my answer to this.
Yeah,
it's a good one. I feel like anything with Eminem is like an automatic almost for the most part.
There's a lot of
Eminem songs you can go to.
Well, he's always like, screw the haters, right? So
right,
when
exactly.
you're listening to hype up music, screw the haters is a really good way to start hype up music.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an exact song name for you.
Cash Out Gaming says Heart of a Champion by Nelly.
There's a lot of the like you said, the actual Jock Jam stuff going back to the 90s.
Oh, someone said Eminem Till I Collapse. That's another really good one, Drew, on the text line.
It is.
Like there's a lot of good choices for this. I guess you probably
on these I would
when do you
like-
listen to
here-
hype up music though for you.
Well, that's the thing. I don't.
In what situation are you like, I need to get hyped up?
It's sporting.
Before you
It's
make a
at-
big bet?
It's at no. It's at sporting. It'd be like at. That's why I say like jock jams because it'd be at sporting events, like whatever the main.
I think I know
pump-up
what
music.
yours is. Yours is Space Jam by Quad City DJs.
Oh, that's definitely high on the list then. Here's the thing. I know Cody doesn't like to give us a head up on random question of the day, and understandably so. He wants
This
us
one came up later.
This one, there's the ones that
On the
involve
spot.
the ones that involve music. I think you got to start giving us a heads up so I can go and cut a song.
Sure.
Because when we're talking about music, it would be better if I could sit here. Yeah, this is the song, and just play it for you.
In fairness, the last time I definitely have no excuse for it. But in this case, Andrew Heaney just said this.
Yeah, fair enough.
I had a different random question. I thought this one was better due to our relation to Creed the band and the Chiefs Kansas City football player. But I thought this one was worthy because of the Creed reference.
Yeah.
If you don't have like Meek Mill, Dreams and Nightmares, like as a pump up song, I mean,
Okay,
that's
that's a
like
good
the.
one.
Be honest, Drew. You strike me. Did you get up at 6 a.m. 4 days ago?
I don't
4
think
days
so.
ago. That was a very specific.
For some reason, my body wakes me up
here's why
actually
it's
around that
related
time.
to
Why
this.
is that?
I promise.
Okay.
Do I look tired?
Because you tweet Drake's new album.
Oh yes, I know. I did not wake up at 6 a.m.
It
to
came out
to
at 6, didn't it? Though.
I think it did.
I don't know why he did 6 a.m. and not midnight the night before.
He wanted to be.
Did you wake up? So you did not wake up to listen to that, but you left your headphones. Here's why I asked.
People seem kind of critical of that one.
You left your headphones last week and had to run back and get them. I'm not. That's not why. Who cares about that? But I'm wondering.
As an excuse to listen to the album?
No,
Is
no,
that
no,
what you're
no. Did you leave the headphones at home because you were listening to the Drake album at home? That's what I'm asking.
No, I don't listen to music with these headphones actually. But no, that is not the reason why. But I was not up at 6 a.m. I'm not that much of a Drake fan to do that.
Also, that album did not get great
I don't know.
early reviews.
Really?
There's
From
a
who?
couple good ones in there, but
Says
there's
who?
A lot of people.
Who are these people?
I don't know. I was reading there was one Billboard writer.
Oh.
I'm dead serious. I was like, it did not get. I haven't listened to it yet, but it did not get.
I haven't listened to
It did not get glowing reviews. There were certainly people
Drew,
who liked
maybe
it.
tomorrow Drew can bump back in with some new Drake.
People always mention Seven Nation Army in this, which was a song that has become a stadium song for like a newer generation, in my opinion. Seven Nation Army is like our version of like we weren't like AC/DC. It's not that you've never heard an AC/DC song, but Gold, by the time you remember them, they were classic rock. By the time AC/DC came into your life, that was classic rock. Seven Nation Army, you're probably listening to that when you were like middle school, high school, right?
Before high school football games, that was a huge part of the pump up track that was playing.
Yeah, that one's a really good.
That was definitely part of the.
Credit to the text line. They said I've never sounded more white than when I said "screw the haters."
For some reason, rock music, and maybe it's because I'm like younger, I guess, but I don't get up to rock music at all.
No?
I mean, Welcome to the Jungle is legit because it's. I mean,
there's some good ones.
I don't get up to rock music at all.
I'm just terrible with names. We've talked about this with songs. But if you played it, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's the one.
I really hope that the Texas Rangers fans come through and they sing Creed a song. He didn't even specify, just a song. If we're choosing one Creed song for them to sing, either Wednesday or Thursday for their game, which song should we be hoping for? I mean, for this sake, probably higher, but
yeah.
Was it the Super Bowl last year where they were playing? No, that was when they beat the Patriots. When that whole clip of the Eagles playing Meek Mill went kind of viral, where they were all dancing in the end zone and getting hyped.
You weren't around here, Drew. They once played my version of Creed coming back from break on. Was it Fox?
Oh.
What station? Gold, did they play the Creed song?
I think
they played it coming back from break, but it might have been CBS. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Chiefs pregame broadcast did a whole thing on it, but
they didn't send you a check.
No, it got played.
Yeah,
No,
it's just good pub. It was good pub for the show. Good pub for the show.
I don't think we made any money off of the Creed is Good.
We did.
Every dime we took in for the Creed is Good video got spent on the Creed is Good video. We spent
That was a couple $1,000 production.
We spent every
thousands
nickel,
of dollars.
Every nickel.
That was thousands of dollars to make it work.
Was that financially irresponsible? Is it financially irresponsible to spend thousands of dollars to bring people joy? You know.
No.
Yes.
We could have helped somebody. You know, we could have done real good with that money, Drew.
I mean, it depends on what you view as good. I mean, if you give people a smile and a laugh, I feel like that does people actually a lot more good than
Mission
you may
accomplished.
think.
Mission accomplished.
I did catch that, by the way. The text line saying CBS played a Tech 9 song coming back after the first touchdown.
Oh, good. Tech 9 was in studio last week on with our morning show. He was promoting, I think, some new album or
Tech
something.
9.
KC. Tech 9.
Red Kingdom has become a very popular song at Chiefs Tailgates.
There's so many knockoffs of it now, like in other cities.
Yeah, it's kind of like the
What's the black and yellow? Or
black
whatever?
and yellow,
Yeah.
black. It's like red and, doesn't matter.
But it's become that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good beat.
Whatever. Tech's going to make a lot of money off it, so good for him. That's my random question of the day.
All right.
Just quickly, I know that we like the reunion storylines for the NFL. Obviously, the Tyreek Hill one in about 3.5 weeks is going to be one to significantly follow. The return of Frank Clark is this week. A show favorite, if I say so myself, from an interview and talking perspective. Absolutely great stuff across the board from Frank Clark. Did you see last night? Chris Jones, who was trying to get Frank Clark to come back to Kansas City in the offseason, has now focused his eyes on the trade market. He was tweeting at Frank Clark last night after Frank Clark sent a tweet that seemingly was suggesting he wanted out of Denver.
Well, yeah, the team sucks.
Was trying to get him back here again. Are we for a Frank Clark reunion?
I mean, I don't really care. I don't know if the Broncos are going to actually do that anyway. It'd be like a conditional 7th-round pick or something. They get a Minihue back. They're healthy right now.
But even with a Minihue, we were talking about Dunlap. Yeah.
Dunlap's a free agent. I don't need to trade for anybody on the defensive line. Sorry, Frank.
The defense has played so well.
Sorry, Frank.
It seems silly
Ship
almost to be.
Has sailed.
Oh, man.
If there's anybody you trade for at this point, it's a wide receiver.
Right. The ship has sailed.
I can't believe you're just going to write him off like
Frank wanted to go to Denver for more money. Can't knock it. They were going to pay him. The Chiefs couldn't make it work financially. The Chiefs didn't want to lowball him and insult him. And, as we all know, sometimes just because there's more money on the other side, it's not always the better situation. And Frank Clark found that out very quickly.
Do you think Frank Clark will show up one more time?
Legend, though.
Yeah, do you think he'll show up as playoff Frank one more time in a game against his former team? If there was a game Frank Clark was showing up for.
The Broncos sure as hell aren't going to the playoffs anytime soon.
No, that's what I'm saying. Will he show up for this? Because this is as close as he'll get to a playoff game. Former team who didn't pay me.
He'll be amped up.
I feel like Frank Clark's good for a sack somehow in this game.
He'll be amped up
they
for
won't
this
win
one.
or anything, but
Yeah, he'll be amped up for the game. I hope the crowd gives him a nice ovation when he comes on the field. I expect that is exactly what will happen.
He's a 2-time Super Bowl
That's
champ
right.
with this team.
And he's one of the best playoff sack guys in NFL history.
By the way, update on Justin Jefferson, who left that game earlier.
Yeah, how's the hammy?
Yesterday, according to head coach Kevin O'Connell, still going through tests.
That's not good.
Said he is down, like emotionally today, given his competitiveness, and the team will have to make sure it protects him from himself.
Oh, he's missing a couple.
Does that sound like a guy who's playing this week?
He's at least missing this week. And yeah, I'm sure he's down, not just because of the injury. He's down also because
his team's
1-4.
It's got to be so, especially with his kind of talent, to be a superstar level talent of a player and to be in a 1-win football team who had the best. Did they have the best record in the NFC last year? No, the Eagles had the best record. They had the second best record.
They won
in the
13. The Vikings won 13. All those close games, and now a little regression to the mean, obviously, is what's going on there. All right, so Red Monday brought to you by the Xfinity 10G. Get a reliable home network so everyone can work, stream, and game at the same time. Up next, we get to the weekend audio fun bag, and the AFC reminded us once again that nothing is guaranteed in the NFL.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Nate Taylor joins the guys in studio Tuesdays at 1 during the season, right here on 610 Sports Radio.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
We're hiring residential garage door installers at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Join the team trusted here since 1927. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. Paid training for motivated applicants to install garage doors. Hiring bonus up to $2,500. Mechanical, carpentry, or service industry experience is a plus. Good benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in KC. Apply today at overheaddoorkc.com.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
One of my favorite times of the year has arrived. That is football season, but it also means we're getting a little bit closer where you got to start thinking about your boat. You got to start thinking about winterizing that boat. So you need to let Midwest Marine Boat Company's elite part and service department take care of your boat so you're all ready to go for next year. Midwest Marine Boat Company will winterize your boat, shrink wrap your boat. They can help with storing your boat. Midwest Marine Boat Company still has all the great savings, though, I've been telling you about. When it comes to the 2023 models, you want to take advantage of those savings before manufacturer prices change. You know that's going to happen. You do not want to be left out and missing this great opportunities. And for the rest of September, they're still going to offer that $2,000 trade-in allowance on all Bennington pontoons and tri-toons. Midwest Marine Boat Company, home of the largest indoor showroom in the Kansas City area. I was amazed still when I walked in there for the very first time. You will be as well at 13800 South Highway 71 in Grandview. Midwest Marine Boat Company. We take pride in your fun.
Hey guys, Beat Up here from Fesco in the Morning, and you know I am struggling with my weight, and Slim for Life has been a game changer. They've created a customized plan for me, and it is working to a T so far, down 77 pounds in just over 100 days. Success is the best motivator, and Cynthia's results are amazing. Cynthia, tell me about your Slim for Life journey.
I lost 72 pounds. I went from a 16-18 to a size 0. I lost 18 pant sizes. And I lost 42.7 inches of body fat. That's a lot of body fat.
I'm doing it. Cynthia did it, and you can too. In fact, you can be down 20 pounds or more your first month, and it's guaranteed. You just need to take the first step. Right now, they have an amazing special. This week, only friends and family sale their lowest prices of the year, with the option to add semaglutide medications to your plan for only $99 your first 4 weeks. 833-SLIM today. That's the number you need to call, 833-754-6863, or you can hit them online at slim4life.com. And when you schedule that free consultation, you can win tickets to see our defending Super Bowl champions play on October 22nd. All services included, exclusive of products. Make the call. Tell them Beat Up sent ya.
For today's show and tell, I present my phone. It's made with glass and various metals I can't pronounce. It's powered by Xfinity Mobile, so my family saves big. Take a handout.
Colin, what are these?
I'm quizzing the class on the material.
Switch to Xfinity Mobile and save hundreds a year with the best price for 2 lines of unlimited. Just $30 a line a month. Visit XfinityMobile.com to learn more. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Unlimited intro service and Xfinity Internet required. Taxes and fees extra. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of usage. Data thresholds may vary.
It's Derek Johnson, and this season, Sheep Metal Workers Local Number 2 are awarding one lucky school a $15,000 facilities enrichment grant. Tell us in 100 words why your school deserves the grant at helpmymokenschool.com and make this the best school season ever.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey, it's Scott Moore. Make sure you keep listening all season long on your official broadcast partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
Shawty's like a melody in my head that I can't keep out. Got me singing like na 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 every day's like my iPod stuck on replay.
1 o'clock hour on a Red Monday, hanging out here. It's Cody and Gold. Red Monday's brought to you by the Xfinity 10G. Get a reliable home network so everyone can work, stream, and game at the same time.
Have either of you guys gone to the bathroom recently?
No.
The sinks clearly aren't draining. So what's the play for the rest of the day? Water is so.
Wait, I went downstairs.
Every time I've washed my hands today, there's more water in the sink than I started.
Cody.
Do I just switch to hand sanitizer? Or obviously, if it gets to the brim, I have to make a call.
Easy. I actually did go to the restroom. Downstairs. I go to the downstairs bathroom anyway. It's way better than the upstairs one.
Really? Why?
Reasons like that. It's cleaner. It's not destroyed the same way the downstairs one is.
Wow. So every time you go to the bathroom, you go to the downstairs one?
Yeah.
Drew, have you been doing this?
No, I've been going to the downstairs one once. On my way out. If I'm doing the show, I just go to the one right over there.
And
on the way out, that's fine.
Yeah, but you can admit, right? The downstairs bathroom, less used, way cleaner. Sinks are never broken. Sinks aren't collecting water, apparently, like the way you said the one up here is.
It's just slowly filling up. I don't know what happened.
Just pour a gallon of Drano in there and be good to go.
I'm not doing that. That's not my job. Do you think I need to inform somebody?
You didn't used to be a plumber?
No, I mean,
bartender. No. You can do everything.
The maximum plumbing I've done is install a toilet.
True.
And I soldered a couple of pipes together once. That's it. That's all I got for you.
Supposed to be a Renaissance man. You're supposed to be able to do everything.
What? I'm telling. So I've changed out toilets, and I once put together I changed a shutoff valve.
Cody Tap, he can do it all.
That's better than you've done. I can't believe I'm being accused of this. None of you guys have ever changed out a toilet. Plumbing is scary. Plumbing and electrical are where I draw my Renaissance man stuff a little bit, Drew, because
that's why I haven't done anything like that either. I'm not.
When you screw them up, it's very bad. When you screw up electrical or you screw up plumbing, problem. You can make a problem worse. If I screw up some drywall, I haven't made the problem worse. Someone might be able to fix it. If I screw up an electrical problem, it could.
So are you telling us you didn't wash your hands, or you did?
I did.
Oh, okay.
But the water is now filling up further.
Did you email maintenance?
I guess I should. I have not.
So you're just gonna let it. Well,
I thought the first time. This is now the second time. The first time I didn't think much of it. I was like, there's a little bit of water in there. Maybe it hasn't drained yet. But then when I went back in there had been more water than when I left. And then when I washed my hands, even more water added to it.
All of the sinks were like this?
Always something. Yeah, how are all three sinks? Is the whole
middle
thing backed up?
No, the middle one also has water in it. It looks much worse. Looks grosser in general. It's much rustier colored. Honest to God, I won't be surprised if they condemn this bathroom by the end of the week.
What the hell? Just go downstairs instead, man.
I will. Are the sinks down there working okay?
Yeah. Fine. There's nothing wrong with the bathroom down there. Go to the one downstairs, man.
Okay. I'm going to call Dick Ray, That's who I'm going to call. He'll fix this problem. He's a plumbing magician. How's that song go? How's that jingle go?
Yeah, I know exactly the jingle you're talking about.
Help us out.
Mm-hmm.
Great jingle, by the way. Just going to say it. No free, I don't, like he didn't pay me to say this. Great jingle. Fantastic work by Dick Ray.
We'll get to the audio fun bag from the weekend coming up in just a couple of minutes. But week 5, almost in the books, right? We still got a little football tonight, Raiders and Packers. The AFC, though, reminding us, again, just like how quickly things can shift And you'd rather be a team trying to figure things out while winning than the alternative. Duh, as the Chiefs sit at 4-1 and still are trying to figure things out offensively. A week ago, the Buffalo Bills were the team.
2 weeks ago?
And before that, it was obviously the Miami Dolphins. And now, fast forward, you have the Bills who just lost in London to the Jags, who suddenly are back.
Who were buried a couple of weeks ago.
The Ravens just had a terrible loss to the Steelers. I don't know how they lost that game. They gave up a safety and then one play.
Not kicking that field goal before half might have something to do with it?
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, I think
it's a humbling conference. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, it's not, look, it's hard to win football games, it turns out. It gives you more appreciation of what's going on.
Somebody's now in the text that's like, how have you not noticed that he doesn't use... I've seen him in the upstairs bathroom.
I'm not saying
this might be a recent change.
I'm not saying that 100% of the time that I use the downstairs bathroom. It also depends on what needs to take place, okay?
Okay. Just an observation, that's all. I think the way you look at the AFC right now is, it is very humbling to all these teams, and if anyone thinks they're going to get secure in their spot, very wrong. 2 weeks ago, the story of the AFC would have absolutely been the Cincinnati Bengals are one of the worst teams in the AFC right now based on the way they're playing. The Miami Dolphins are the best team in the AFC based on the way they're playing. And by the way, none of this, which is fun, none of this includes a conversation around the Chiefs, who are consistently still the team you don't necessarily have to worry about when it relates to this conversation. But I mean, Cincinnati's only a game back in their division thanks to that Steelers win against the Ravens, which changes everything about it. The Bills and the Dolphins are both 4-1, so they're tied at the top of their division. And then, let's just say, and the AFC South is a mess. Everyone seemingly is in that conference. Right now, the Jags are tied with the Colts. It's probably the Jags' division to win, but it is still a messy start for it. And then if the Chargers can beat the Chiefs in 2 weeks, it'd open up the AFC West. Really what I think this means is, I don't think I would be confident in any way predicting which is the team that's going to face him in the AFC title game. I think the Chiefs will be in the AFC title game because they're always in the game. But predicting who is the team who's going to be alongside them is becoming increasingly difficult. And some of that is dependent on how Cincinnati continues to play now through a difficult part of their schedule, not the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, they got Seattle, bye week, Niners, then the Buffalo Bills. I believe that's the stretch coming up for Cincinnati. I think the question with them...
Oh, Bills are 3-2. Sorry, text line. Thank you.
The question
came
for
back in Miami.
The question for Cincinnati is whether or not what we saw yesterday is Joe Burrow just fixed now, right? Is the calf good enough? Because if it is,
yesterday, I guess.
it looked great yesterday. Can he duplicate that? Because if he can, then yeah, the Cincinnati Bengals are back to being right there in the thick of things. That'll be the next question. They answered the one, which was, can he show us one game of looking like old Joe Burrow? And he did. Now, can he do it for a consecutive week with the calf and not have, a setback? If he does that, then I think you have to start looking once again at Cincinnati like, okay, they are going to eventually be right there where we thought they could be. And people wrote them off a little bit too quickly. But they have to prove it against a good team, and can Burrow put consecutive wins together. But the Ravens losing to Pittsburgh in a terrible way. I mean, that's the one where if the Ravens lose the division, that's the one everybody's going to go back and say, how the hell in week 5 did you lose to Pittsburgh, in which they couldn't do anything against you till you had 2 bad kicks, basically, right? You had the block punt, and then you mentioned the field goal as well.
Because of the way this is shaking out, does it change your opinion on what it's going to take to win the AFC? Because right now,
in terms of just the
here are the division leaders right now. The Jags at 3-2, tied with the Colts at 3-2. Steelers and Ravens are both 3-2. Browns are only a half game back because they had the bye this week. Chiefs are 4-1. Chargers are 2-2. And then the Dolphins are 4-1. The Bills are 3-2. Right now, it's pacing like it's going to be 12-5 that gets it done. Is there going to be someone that actually separates himself? I think the biggest problem is all of these teams in the AFC all play each other, and it's a very messy conference.
So you're talking about just to get the 1 seed, not to actually win the AFC.
To get the 1 seed.
To get the number 1 seed. I still think 13's the number, at least. I'd be really surprised if you told me that it gets so jumbled, Cody, where 12 wins is getting you the 1 seed. Because, Kansas City's sitting at 4-1, number 1, right now. And we know, based off of their record or their schedule coming up, there's a very good chance they're 5-1 on Friday. So you start
6-1, including the other Broncos win, which means depending on what happens with that Chargers game, at worst, probably 6-2 is what it feels like.
I still think, I know people sold their stock on Jacksonville. I still think Jacksonville, because of the division, even if the Texans are more of a fight than we thought, and did beat Jacksonville head-to-head, I still think they have a very good chance to be one of the top 2-3 seeds, if not the number 1 seed, right there with Kansas City.
Probably the biggest swing in that is this week against the Colts. They go up against Gardner Minshew. They drop to the Colts, then we're done having that conversation.
Yeah.
We're done with the 1 seed Jags possibility conversation if they drop at home.
Assuming the Chiefs keep
to
winning.
Gardner.
Yeah.
Yes. But, I mean, I don't even know if it matters if they, they lost to Thursday.
They'd have two losses at that point.
Yeah. But I'm just, this week feels like I could, is it this week?
Who?
No, I'm just making sure the date. They weren't like a bye or something. The Colts.
Oh.
But so, I mean, if they lost the Colts at home against Gardner Minshew, although Gardner Minshew maybe gets some better
We've
chance
said this
to win
before.
sometimes.
Gardner Minshew gives the Colts short-term a better chance to win football games. Long-term, Anthony Richardson's the guy they drafted and all that. But short-term, Gardner Minshew absolutely can help them. And Jonathan Taylor's back in the mix.
This is the fun part about, the reason why I still don't think the Jags can get the 1 seed is this is why we look at a schedule when it happens, and this is why we look at a schedule when we're actually in the season, we get a feel for these teams. The Colts are a little saltier than we thought. Then they have to go to the Saints. That is one of the best defenses in the entire NFL. Then they go to the Steelers, one of the other better defenses in the entire NFL. Then the Niners, the Titans aren't a pushover. The Texans aren't a pushover. Cincinnati is playing better football. The Browns, another really good defense. And when I say really good defense, to me, that means you could get into a fight. You can lose a game because you get into an ugly fight with them. Their schedule now on paper only has one cupcake on it remaining, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That is the Carolina Panthers on New Year's Eve. The rest of them can be a challenge. Doesn't mean they won't win a bunch of those games, but to me, they don't have any more cupcakes left in the schedule. The Chiefs have at least 2. That's Denver twice.
Yeah, they do, and the Patriots looking more and more like that, even though at one point
they're terrible.
While we're doing, might as well go through. So on the Chiefs' schedule, what looks tougher now? What looks easier? So we know Denver,
Miami looks tougher.
So Denver looks even easier, right? But 2 games there. The Chargers, I would say it's about the same what we expected.
Yep. Raiders look just about as easy as I thought they would.
Dolphins, probably tougher is the answer to that. Eagles, what we thought. Raiders are the same, maybe easier. Packers,
about the same.
Maybe by the time we get there, we'll see. Could be tougher. Bills, what you expected. Patriots, easier. And Cincinnati, it's hard to say right now.
Easier right now, but by the time we get there, maybe. Like right now, because they have the Raiders and the Broncos 2 more times, I almost feel like I know the Chiefs' record is 4-1. It's like, all right, so 8-1, and the Patriots, so 9-1. All right. I got 10 games figured out for the Chiefs. Now what can they do in the other 7? And because you're saying 13 wins might win the AFC, all I'm asking them to do in those other 7 games possibly is go 4-3.
I wish it was that simple,
That's
man.
it. I'm just asking the
simple.
Chiefs to go 4-3 in those other games. Because I have a hard time, and the NFL's like this, so they'll get
We just got done saying
how the hell are they losing to the Broncos? How the hell are they losing to the Raiders? How the hell are they losing to that Patriots team? Bailey Zappi might start that Patriots game in December.
You're not wrong, and the trends would suggest that that's exactly how it's going to go against the Broncos and Raiders. But you and I also know it's never that easy. It's not because you're right. 9-1. Sure, I'm with you. Hey, sign me
They're
up.
9-1 now, so now we're just talking about 4-3.
We just know it's never that simple. And just there's so many factors. There's injuries. There's weird. But right now, again, remember that I'm told by national NFL fans that the NFL has set it up for the Chiefs to win every game. So because the refs love the Chiefs. So you're right, Cody. They might just win out. They might just go and win 16 or 17 games now. 16, I guess.
Since Taylor Swift, they'd be undefeated.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Officially at that
That's
point.
a great point. Since their relationship became official,
that's true.
Undefeated.
That's right. Yeah, it's all about Taylor Swift. The NFL said, all right, we'll make sure you guys don't lose a damn game, even though we're going to penalize you more than your opponent. Somehow you're going to win. And we just want to keep Taylor Swift happy.
Got to keep the games close still. You know how this works.
Mm-hmm.
It is very fun, or was very funny yesterday, how Bengals fans watching the Bengals game, and then they hop over to see the Chiefs. And the first play that they're seeing really is that flag where L'Jarius he's taking his helmet off, and they're like, "This is ridiculous. It's rigged. This is insane."
That's
the amount
a
of
tough,
stuff.
brief moment to catch of a football game, and
the
not
one moment
feel
they
like
caught.
the Chiefs are getting an
The Bengals win. They're feeling great, and then it's like, "What is this?"
All right, let's get to the weekend fun, the audio fun bag, as we do each and every Monday here on Cody and Gold. I want to start with a little college football.
Sure. You know what? I just want to play. We don't normally do a play-by-play cut for college football, but this decision in the Miami-Georgia Tech game was so egregious, it bears playing.
With 10 seconds to go from the 44, snap back to King. Flushed out to his right. Looking. 5 seconds to go. He will toss it into the end zone at the 5. Larry into the end zone. Touchdown Jackets. Touchdown Jackets.
Look, the reason why it's worth playing this is they had lost the game. All Miami had to do was kneel.
Yep.
Instead, Mario Cristobal handed the ball off. They fumbled. Looks like he was down. Do not blame the refs. All your man had to do was take a knee.
Yeah, it's Georgia Tech and Miami game, by the way.
All they had to do was take a knee, and they do it. But then it still required Georgia Tech to hit a Hail Mary, essentially, late in the game in order to win it. They hit the deep pass. They win. Good for Georgia Tech. I still can't believe that Miami didn't just kneel.
Terrible. That was pathetic. Let's stick with the coaching theme a little bit. We know the storyline heading into the Broncos-Jets game was all the offseason comments, right? Sean Payton had called Nathaniel Hackett's coaching job one of the worst in NFL history. Worst coach team, making fun of him a little bit. It's set up for week 5, and you know this is one Nathaniel Hackett wanted badly. The Broncos end up getting beat by 2 scores after the late fumble that was returned for a touchdown. The Jets got the victory. Sean Payton, after the game, obviously did not want to talk too much about Nathaniel Hackett.
A lot of focus on this game, your USA Today comments regarding Hackett. How do you look at that as a chapter in your coaching career where some people might say Hackett got revenge today?
Yeah, listen, they played better than us, and I credit, Robert and that staff. They won the game, and I think that's how I look at it.
Coach, do you regret, though, those comments, making those comments?
I already addressed that, though, and it's a fair question, but I think we already addressed that the next day. All right, thank you, guys.
That's Sean Payton, courtesy of the Broncos.
Ooh. What was worse, that or what Russell Wilson said about his team after the game?
Yeah, that's the truth. We really should and could be 4-1.
Thoughts? Thoughts? Is Russell Wilson right? Should they and could they be 4-1?
Could they be? Sure.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, could they, though? I mean, I got to be honest. Like, could they? What's their point differential right now? They're currently...
You have one of the worst defenses in NFL
they
history
are currently
trending.
minus 40. No, wait, sorry, that's the Raiders. They're minus 60.
Remember, they lost 70
way
to 20.
Worse. They're minus 60. Well, that's minus 50 there. Still pretty bad. So he's saying in all those other games, they're like, we could have won all of those.
The thing that's weird, though, is that Russell's playing better this year, I think, than last year. But the defense is so much worse than they were last year.
That's the issue. Yeah, no. In fairness, as much as Sean Payton obviously deserves all the criticism in the world, he's actually made the offense he has made a lot better.
They could also be 0-5.
His football team is not just about the offense. He's the head coach, and his defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph, the whole thing's a mess. Vance Joseph probably should be fired by now.
The Chiefs game.
Maybe after the Thursday Nighter.
After Mahomes goes for 404 tutties would be fine with me. Speaking of coaching indiscretions, Bill Belichick.
That's a lot of touchdowns.
His team, yeah, I know.
440 touchdowns.
My gosh. 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. His team's off to his worst start in his NFL career. Bill Belichick said that they might have to start over. Listen to this interaction between the reporter. He has a plan. Listen to it.
But we got to find a way to, play and coach better than that. And so that's what we're going to do. Start all over and get back on a better track than we're on right now.
Bill, you said you guys need to start over. Have you ever had to do that before, 5 games into the season, just for reference? I mean, is it something new?
Yeah, I've done it before.
What does that entail, starting over?
Starting over.
Amazing.
I bet the reporters don't think it's as cutesy when he's not winning a whole bunch of games, does it? You can't get away with something starting over.
What does starting over entail? Starting over.
Duh. I mean, come on. What did you think the back end of that answer was going to be? What does starting over entail?
I don't think he was going to start laying out his 5-step plan to starting over for you.
Getting back his girlfriend, maybe, is the start.
That's true.
That's right. That's still going on.
Really, they can't win since Bill Belichick and his girlfriend broke up. The same as Chiefs can't lose since him and Taylor Swift got together. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift got together.
There you go. Lastly,
big coaching theme
on the audio fun bag. Yeah, Brian Kelly, head coach of LSU. They went into Columbia on Saturday, got the win against the Missouri Tigers. First loss of the season for Mizzou. This was what Brian Kelly actually said Friday before his team left for Columbia, Missouri.
All right, we'll see you in Columbia. Bring your Columbia jackets. It was a joke.
Nobody laughed. Nobody acknowledged it. that was a joke that Brian Kelly tried to make.
All right, we'll see you in Columbia. Bring your Columbia jackets. That was a joke.
Such a dad joke.
Oh,
that's not even. That
gosh.
is one of the worst jokes I have ever heard in my entire life. I'm not even sure it's technically a joke, as much as it is a comment. Look, I don't know what's like between this and like my family. I don't know what is going on with Brian Kelly.
This might be worse, actually, than that.
Why is he always doing an accent or some sort? Why is he always trying to do a bit? Just coach football. Move on with your life.
No, he did coach football. He got a win on Saturday.
Yeah, he did. Can't argue that.
His defense.
Bring your Columbia jackets. Oh man,
Get it?
You
Get
got
it,
them.
Cody? You get it? Because they're in
because
Columbia?
they both say because they're both Columbia.
Do you get it? You get it?
It's just you know what I've decided. It is without question. That's not a joke. I don't think he knows what a joke is. That's not a joke. That's just two words that are the same. It's not. There's no punchline. There's no setup. It is just simply two words that are the same. It's not a joke. There's no way that's a joke. That one's really bad. I wish I had that Brian Kelly clip anymore.
I know which one. Where he clearly
It's a
faked
great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family.
that part.
I'm here with my family.
It's a great day.
Guy grew up in Massachusetts or something.
Yeah.
It's a great day.
Someone was
here
upset.
with my family.
Someone was upset the last time they said we were making fun of Southern accents. No, we're
making fun of Brian Kelly for doing
fun of Brian Kelly for faking the Southern accent. That's why that clip is funny to us. That's why we've played it over and over. It's not the accent. It's the
You
fact
should
that
be offended if you have a Southern accent.
It's the fact that if you don't have one, don't fake it. And unless you're really good at faking it, and he wasn't, and it's a funny clip. That's all.
It would just be like Gold. All of a sudden, he leaves this job and he goes to take a job in Knoxville, Tennessee. So he knows he's got to talk SEC football. And also he's like, "I'm Alex Gold." Yeah, it's just like no, that's not you.
I do think if you live,
decidedly not your accent.
I do think if you move somewhere and you live there long enough, you do start to develop it.
He hadn't been there a week.
No, that's why in his case it didn't make any sense. But I do think I was in Houston for a very short time. I do think I said y'all a little bit more when I was down there.
Okay,
but
that's fair.
You were just around it, so
Sure.
you pick up on it.
You start to develop the lingo a little bit?
If you lived in New Jersey for 10 years in a row, you would start to have a little bit of an East Coast Jersey accent.
No question.
Not as heavy as if you were born there, but you'd
Brian
start
Kelly was at his introductory press conference. Or no, he was at a basketball game a few weeks after he'd taken the job or whatever.
How many times do you think he's referred to Baton Rouge as Baton Rouge and tried to really put some English on it?
Oh, man. That's the audio fun bag for the weekend. Up next, we'll get to what's trending. And, well, the big plays weren't there from the wide receiver group, but there certainly was one particular sign of promise. We'll tell you about it next.
Cody and Gold.
Last and probably most important question. Are, in fact, all opinions like buttholes?
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hi, it's Trey Smith, and in order for our team to get a victory, we need honesty, teamwork, work ethic, humility, and the golden rule. That's why my truck is from the dealer that embodies all those values, Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram also supports Giving Hope, whose sole purpose is to feed and clothe the needy in Wyandotte County and beyond. Giving back in the highest integrity, that's how Jeff and his team do business. For your next vehicle, visit or go to victorychrysler.com.
Well, I want to tell you about another winner. It's my friends at Window World. They are ranked #1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They're also the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs. So you know the Chiefs are a winner. And Window World, they have windows that are one of 2 windows that are locked in with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. In just over 20 years of business, they have improved the look and thermal efficiency of over 52,000 homes in Kansas City. Plus, your windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all your parts, glass breakage, and labor. It also uses a double-strength glass. It gives it that extra strength that is not commonly used in your normal replacement windows. They are giving an incredible deal right now. They are offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. 18 months, that's a year and a half. So do me this favor. Give them a call for a free home estimate. Check out the website, and they can show you how they are simply the best for less. Fall is right around the corner. You know winter is going to be here before you know it. I want you to get ready, and the best way to do that is with my friends at Window World.
The Rated R superstar, Adam Copeland, makes his AEW in-ring debut.
This Tuesday, AEW returns to the Kansas City area on a special night.
It's Tuesday. You know what that means?
AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday and Rampage take over the Cable Dahmer Arena.
Kansas City is on fire tonight.
For a massive night of elite professional wrestling action.
Wow.
The Rated R superstar Adam Copeland makes his AEW in-ring debut when he battles Luchasaurus.
I am standing in an AEW ring.
In a rematch, the international champion Rey Fenix takes on Jon Moxley.
My God, listen to that.
The AEW Women's Champion Saraya will defend the gold against Sheeta.
It is Title Tuesday.
Powerhouse Hobbs takes on Jericho. Jay White battles Hangman Page. And who will be the #1 contender for the TNT Championship when Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson face off?
What a match.
Don't miss AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday at the Cable Dahmer Arena. Tickets are on sale now. Go to AEWTix.com. Card subject to change.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes, the IRS has greenlighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship and is now accessible through Tax Help USA. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. For this free information, call 800-251-1413. 800-251-1413. That's 800-251-1413.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Arvest Bank, proud supporter of your Kansas City Chiefs radio network. Arvest Bank, proud supporter of your Kansas City Chiefs radio network. Stop by any Arvest branch to find out why banking with Arvest and the Arvest Go mobile app makes life easier. Arvest Bank, proud to be here game day. Let's do this.
What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on what's trending, of course, the Chiefs now 4-1 here on a Red Monday. We'll talk more in depth about the wide receivers, but Rashee Rice came up with that big touchdown to go put 20 points at that point in time on the board. And Patrick Mahomes was talking a little bit about what they got from Rashee Rice and making a big play after, at that point, a miss.
We've been trying to just keep those young guys learning. Learning versus coverage, not always going to be perfect. And I thought he did a great job. And it was right after, I think, the one that went over the top that we didn't work on that one, and he saw it, made adjustment, and made a play on the next one. And so that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a lot of guys that, as they get reps, learning from, I don't want to say mistakes, but learning from the miscues or whatever you want to call it, and then executing the next play. And they got to know that I'm going to keep firing it to them. I mean, that's just my mentality, is I'm going to keep throwing the ball to them. And I think you saw a lot of young guys step up and make plays today.
Just 20 snaps, though. I know we'll talk about this in a second, but I think everybody's in agreement. Got to continue to increase the snap count for Rashee Rice. He's proven to be too much of a factor in having success, winning matchups when he's on the field.
Currently projected to have the third most receiving yardage on the team, only behind Travis Kelce, and currently Justin Watson. Might have another dom patch.
Justin Watson, baby.
We'll see. Rooting for our guy, Next up on What's Trending, according to Seth Davis, and now multiple reports, the Big 12 has reignited talks with Gonzaga about the possibility of joining their conference for college basketball. This is not surprising. This has come up multiple years in a row. So you and I both know that this is something that has been in the works. If I'm Gonzaga and if I'm the Big 12, this is perfect. I don't have to make them a full member because they're not going to be in any way involved in our football program situation. And we get to maintain basketball superiority over the rest of college basketball as the best. I think some people were mentioning, like, hey, maybe just add Creighton too. Then you get yourself 18-team college basketball conference with two really good powerhouses. That would be an absolutely loaded college basketball conference. I think it's a really good idea by them. I don't blame them at all. There's no point. Gonzaga just over there on their own. Come play with the big boys. Come get in a real conference.
Just to play devil's advocate for a half second on this, are you not concerned, though, that the minute Mark Few retires, that Gonzaga just goes back to being this small random school?
Kind of like how Villanova's done that a little bit?
In Spokane. That'd be my only hesitation. Like, obviously, Mark Few and Gonzaga, we're well past the prove it. They are who they are.
I feel like the Big 12, being the Big 12 helps them prevent that.
Maybe,
if that makes sense.
Maybe so. Yeah. You might be right. That would be my only slight bit of hesitation. I would wonder, like, if Mark Few retired, we know if at certain places the coach retires, they're still there as a program. What would happen if he leaves? That's my only bit of hesitation. Otherwise, I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a fair question, again, but I do wonder whether or not it helps them in that case. And we've also got 1 year of Villanova, so it's really hard to be evidence. Yeah. They were mediocre last year in the Big East, Villanova, but it was literally the first year without Jay Wright. I don't know what they're going to be this
Villanova
year.
has also won national championships and been one of the 5 best programs in the last 10 years. Gonzaga's been a contender, but they're not winning championships left and right here.
They've been in the game twice or once?
They've
been in the Final Four multiple times.
I think title game once.
I want to say title game once, maybe twice, but Final Four they've been in a few times for sure. Obviously haven't won it yet. Plus the financial impact of it too. I mean,
they'll just bring back Adam Morrison. He can coach when Mark Few.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I'll still never forget the Gus Johnson call of that, where it was like, the slipper still fits.
Meanwhile, Adam's on the ground just bawling his eyes out.
Also, how old is Mark Few? Is he ever leaving? He's in his 25th season as the head coach of Gonzaga.
Man, he's done an unbelievable job there.
They have been to so many Sweet 16s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Sweet 16s, 6 Elite 8s, 2 Final Fours, and they've lost in the championship twice. So both times they made the Final Four, they were in the championship game. They lost both games. It's a great program.
Next up on What's Trending, MLB postseason continues tonight on the NL side. It's the Phillies, actually, with the 1-game-to-none lead right now on the World Series favorite Atlanta Braves. Then late tonight, a little after 8 o'clock, how about the Diamondbacks, who were awfully impressive in Game 1 against the Los Angeles Dodgers? They beat up Clayton Kershaw in that first inning. The Dodgers D-backs tonight, Arizona leading the series 1-0. And then tomorrow, over on the AL side, it'll be a 3 o'clock game between the Astros and Twins. That series knotted up at a game apiece. And then the Baltimore Orioles in a must-win situation. They're down 2-0 to the Texas Rangers, and this series now goes to Arlington.
And they got Creed behind them now, so, I mean, what can you do?
I joked about this over the weekend on the betting show I do for BetQL. I'm like, I know the TV partners wouldn't like it. I got a sense we're going to get a Rangers-Twins ALCS, which is not what TV wants, but I think we might end up getting that.
Could be.
That was before the series started, by the way.
Yeah, sure. Next up on What's... Sure. I know you can prove it. Next up on What's Trending, injury update in the NFL. Head coach Shane Steichen told reporters today quarterback Anthony Richardson will miss, quote, some time with his sprained AC joint. It was reported earlier today he wanted to get a second opinion on the severity of said injury. And also, Kevin O'Connell said that Justin Jefferson is still going through tests on his hamstring, said he's down, given his competitiveness, but the team will might have to protect him, quote, from himself. Take that what you will. Anthony Richardson's definitely missing time. I feel like Justin Jefferson might, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hope not, man. I hope not. Justin Jefferson's one of the best wide receivers, but best players in the game. Much better and a lot more entertaining watching him. Although the Chiefs shut him down 3 quarters. That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. I apologize. If you're watching the stream, you're like, why is Gold smirking as Cody's talking about guys being injured? It's because I just saw it come across on my timeline, the photo from the Kansas City Star of Willie Gay after the game. He gestured to Vikings fans after a defensive pass interference penalty was waved off. And it's just Willie Gay giving the most aggressive
big middle finger
to Vikings fans.
Who sent that photo out?
Casey Starr. And then the second one, crying back to the crowd. So good. It's a great photo.
Well, I guess.
It's amazing.
I guess Willie wasn't hiding behind it, was he?
There's something you can flip someone off and there's an aggressive. His was the most mean mug, just middle finger to the world. In that case, the Minnesota Vikings fans, hilarious. And by the way, before you say, he shouldn't do that, who knows what the hell they were saying to him? You know what I mean? Got to keep that in perspective.
I also don't care.
It's funny to me.
You can flip people off.
But what about the children, Cody? The children.
There's kids who are giving birds to people.
They got binoculars and they're zoomed in on Willie Gay.
The photo's so good. So good. Like, kind of want it framed. Kind of want it signed. It's not as good It's not as good as the Brandon Flowers many years ago.
He's doing it to the black hole.
He's out in Oakland and he intercepts or whatever, and he's like this, his arms crossed, and all it is I don't know, 100 Raiders fans in the black hole, all giving him the double bird, and he's just chilling. That's an all-time photo. I kind of want this one. This is the response, by the way. Embrace the hate. This is also something that could work. We're talking about embracing the hate, how the NFL is not rigging it for the Chiefs. Anytime someone responds to you, just reply back with the Willie Gay photo, and we can just settle the case right there.
Embrace the hate shirts.
Embrace the hate with a cutout of Willie Gay flipping off somebody.
Hold on, I'm working on the 6:10 a.m. Erectile dysfunction study.
Yeah, if you guys missed that, if you guys missed that,
along, one shirt at a time.
There was a very important study that came out this weekend. You can find it for yourself, and basically, the AM radio waves, like 610, can help with your erectile dysfunction. So listen longer.
Proven study. Ever since I started listening to Cody and Gold, my sex life has never been better.
That's exactly right. You heard it from the host himself, Cody Tapp. So if you guys are diehard 610 listeners, we know you don't have any problem. You listen to the wrong stations. I don't know what's going on.
Might explain part of your problem.
Maybe you need to explain to the wife why you're listening to 610 longer. Explain. Solves the problem.
Or while in the bedroom. You just get an AM radio for the bedroom.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an instant thing, but yeah, listen longer.
Can't hurt. Always in the bedroom.
Hang on a minute.
Hang on
Radio
a minute.
cranks up.
I'm gonna put on. Just wait till we do.
Wait
till we do. What's your fantasy?
Mm-hmm. Listen
now
to
you can
610.
incorporate both. Maybe your fantasy is now to listen to AM radio. In that moment. You should go back and listen to Trash Today. We'll send out a clip later today, too, if for some reason you missed the entire of the conversation. But yes, the study's out. What can we say? That's the case. Meanwhile, the verdict is still out on the wide receivers. I don't think it was a bad game out of the wide receivers, so I guess I want to preface that. It felt like a perfectly fine game out of that unit, but let's admit, Gold, that nobody had some big game. The leading wide receiver out of the game was Justin Watson. The man had 2 catches. The next leading wide receiver out of the game was Rashee Rice, and he only played 20 snaps. So there's still a ton of work to do. I think really where I keep getting hung up on is I refuse to panic until we get a little bit more time, because I still know that only one player out of this group has to emerge. And while I think the list has thinned of the players who I think can do it, I don't think that it's 0, right? I still think Rashee Rice is the most logical answer. I wouldn't completely rule out Tony yet. The rest of them, yeah, I'm done. Like Watson's fine. He's good for his role. MVS isn't going to break out. I get at the moment I'm done thinking Sky is because of the number of snaps and productivity. And unless Justin Ross all of a sudden starts getting 40 snaps a game, I have a hard time there too. Don't you? Like, to me, it's down to really Rice, or if Tony is now healthy and is going to start putting up some numbers. He had 5 catches in that game for only 26 yards. It felt more impactful for that because at least one of those was for a first down, but they still need Travis Kelce to make this unit look good.
No doubt. I think, though, the promising signs you saw out of the group was, while there weren't the big plays, as you said, I thought each receiver yesterday had one of their stronger performances. I know that's nuts when nobody had 85, 90 yards, but when Tony got the ball, Cody, I actually thought until he got tripped up, I thought he was a little bit more involved in the offense. The one guy that you continue to be a little more disappointed on is Sky Moore, but Rashee Rice's snap count
he's getting plenty of snaps.
His snap count should be going up, and someone else's should be going down. Justin Ross makes the great grab. I'm not sitting here telling you Justin Ross needs to start getting half the snaps. It was one play, and he had a couple drops. Let's not forget that. But Rashee Rice is the guy that absolutely has to continue to earn more playing time. I should say get more playing time, because he's earned it, in my opinion. Not just because he got a touchdown in the game, but I think there's a lot of trust already there between Mahomes and Rice. Rice clearly is a really smart football player, has picked up this offense. That's why he's already played for a rookie as much as he had. But they got to continue to build on that. He should not be getting as few snaps as he is. Right now, your wide receiver room is not effective enough to where, even if a rookie is a rookie, he should be being held back because of that. Right now, you can't afford to do that. I know they're 4-1, but at some point, somebody else other than Kelce, especially with right now getting a little banged up, somebody else has to emerge. And he seems like the most likely to do so. It's fine to have reliable Justin Watson. Credit to him. He's having a very nice season. But you got to have somebody else, and also looking ahead to the future, Rashee Rice is much more important for them.
I mean, just do the math on it. Even if they don't play the same position, you've got to find ways to use them. Sky Moore has 90 more snaps than Rashee Rice, half as many targets and half as many catches. That is an unacceptable ratio. I assume they got bigger plans. I assume that if those ratios continue that way, that you will see an adjustment in there. Look at Justin Watson, who has more snaps, by the way, than Rashee Rice, but still 75 less snaps than Sky Moore. He has more catches for more yards. So you can't, at this point, tell me that it's not worth when every single... Right now, here's the problem. Snaps are going to die with MVS and Sky Moore. They are useless snaps. They are running on a treadmill. They aren't doing anything. They aren't accomplishing a goal. And look, there's probably some non-truth to that. Andy would tell me that this route concept ran by Sky Moore or MVS opened things up for one of the other players on the roster. I understand. They're probably not all lost snaps. But when you're out here running 212 snaps, if you're Sky Moore, you have got to end up with more than 9 catches. What is the rate at that? Like, you're getting less than what? 10%, 5% of the time? You're coming up with a catch that you're running out of snaps? Less than that? 3.5%?
He has what, 17 targets?
17 targets and 9 catches.
12.5% of the time of the snaps is he being thrown the ball. 12.5%.
And it's way less than that, and it's half of that for the catch percentage.
Yeah, I'm fine with Justin Ross getting more snaps. I just don't think because of one catch suddenly they need to be right there with Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice should be...
start shifting. It's time to start shifting the numbers.
Working some more guys. I think clearly what we've seen with Justin Ross is 6 snaps, 4 targets, and a couple drops. He was open. Remember, the difference is because of his size, right? He doesn't have to get as open as everybody else, right? I mean, the one catch we're all going crazy about, there wasn't separation. You know what he's able to do because of the athleticism? He's able to go up and high point the football. It's a great catch, great throw by Patrick Mahomes as well. It's not that he got a ton of separation, but that's okay. Like that's why we thought Justin Ross maybe in the red zone could be a weapon. because he can go high point of football. They don't really have anybody else other than Kelsey. Right now in this offense, they can go high point of football the way Justin Ross can. That's where I would like to see him more involved.
Sure. It is wild because Patrick Mahomes is on pace for 4,400 yards and 34 touchdowns. Well, I mean, to be honest, generally that'd be kind of a disappointing season for him. That would be his second lowest touchdown total ever, only second to the season in which he got injured before, and that would be his second lowest yardage total ever, second again only to the season he got injured. So as much as 4,400 yards and 34 touchdowns is not a bad season for any given quarterback at any time, it's bad for him. He is pacing below normal Patrick Mahomes. Normal Patrick Mahomes gets 3 or 4 to upwards of 800 more yards, and normal Patrick Mahomes would get 5, 6, upwards of 15 more touchdown passes. He needs the receivers to come along a little bit further, so we can start. So they can get back to 30 points a game and normal Patrick Mahomes. Right now, they are arguably, this might be the worst offense Patrick Mahomes has played. That is saying so much about it because they're the 9th-ranked scoring offense right now. And again, I just gave you the stats.
Yeah.
But I think you can make an argument that this is to date the worst offense.
It is, and it's
pacing to be his worst.
It's kind of relative because, as you were highlighting, it's because of what the standard that we're at with Patrick Mahomes and some of the ridiculous seasons he's had. So, saying it's the worst season for,
Mac Jones,
it means it might be historically bad. Yes. Saying it's the worst season for Mahomes means, it might be a top 5 season for 95% of the other quarterbacks in the league.
He would still finish 4,400 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 14 picks or 13 picks.
The other part, though, too, you mentioned offensively, weapon-wise, but as a football team, 1 through 53, this is the best roster he's had in his career.
Funny enough.
Because the defense, right?
Yes.
We know he's had better receivers. Duh.
Through 5 games, this is the best his defense ever played and the worst his offense has ever played.
But this defense is why they're still 4-1, despite where they're at. And they're working through the problems. That's the beautiful thing. A lot of teams with crappier head coaches, crappier quarterbacks, would be working through issues and be sitting here with 1 or 2 wins.
They'd be saying things like Russell Wilson being like, we could be 4-1 if only things had gone our way.
But they're 4-1. In fact, in Kansas City, we should be saying, well, they could be 5-0. One less drop from Kadarius Toney. They could be 5-0 right now. We can play that game. So they're continuing to work through some things. I do think there was a promising sign or two, though. Rashee Rice continues to look like a guy that's going to be a big part of this offense in the future. Hopefully it's this year and not just really looking ahead to the future. Hopefully it's this year. I think he has to be, man.
I will say, again, if given the choice before the season, he said, hey, Cody, 5 games through the season, which unit would you rather be seeing some struggle out of, the defense or the offense? Pick the offense. Because I'm just far more likely to think that's going to be fixed. It's not a homerism side of things. I just told you that he is this season, a season in which he has been fine. Patrick Mahomes has been better than most NFL quarterbacks. Not better than all of them statistically, but better than most NFL quarterbacks. This is his worst season offensively. They're still in the top 10. They're still 4-1. They're still scoring enough points. And look, I know they could have had 7 more points if they wanted to, so their point total could have gotten to maybe 7th in the NFL instead if Mahomes, because it's a fraction of a difference this early in the season. Yeah, Brock Purdy's had a better start to a season. So's maybe not Josh Allen. He's starting to throw picks again, but Tua has, right? I can list a few quarterbacks who have been better than him. If you look at QBR, he's the 4th best quarterback. If you look at yardage, he's like the 7th best quarterback. If you look at touchdowns, he's all in that same range. And this is considered a bad start for him, and they're 4-1. So, yeah, I'm going to give a lot of leeway. But, yeah, this game didn't make me feel way better about the wide receivers, but for the first time in a few games, it didn't make me feel worse. We were trending in a bad direction where I'm like, is there anyone to throw the ball to? Or without Kelsey, it's like, I don't really like the mix here. Rice continues to show me get more touches. Justin Ross, I will entertain a few more snaps for him. If for the only 6 snaps he took, 4 of them were worthy of throwing him the ball, all 4 of which should have been completed had he not dropped 2 of them. But his problem here, and this is the thing you're going to have to admit if you're a big Justin Ross supporter. I know we've been on the opposite side of that for a long time. But if you're a big Justin Ross supporter, you have to admit that when given the opportunity, you better hold on to the football. It is the only thing that they're going to really judge you on right now is your ability not to make a mistake.
The percentage, by the way, I did the math incorrectly. It's 8% of the time has Sky Moore been throwing the ball.
So about 4%.
of the time has he caught it. At what point, I mean, guys, real quick before we wrap things up, how much time does it take before we're like, is Sky Moore actually a bust because he's not working? I know it's just like year 2.
To me, he gets the full season
this year.
Yeah, to me, he gets the full season.
And then you get the year 3, like, can you become a viable wide receiver versus like a 400-yard guy?
He gets this full season. I don't like where it's trending. I don't know how you can be confident, but I'm not going to throw in the towel a year, not even a year and a half into the guy's career. I think I can't do that. But unfortunately, it's trending in a direction that none of us were hoping for. That's for sure. You'd be in complete denial if you're like, hey, it's still being just fine.
Just give him a minute.
I'm definitely very concerned that that's where it's trending towards.
Again, he's just out there getting cardio right now. I just,
really good cardio.
Should be concerning to you. That Sky Moore's, like, my problem with Tony is, has he caught a ball more than about 3 yards past the line of scrimmage?
Yeah,
he had 5 catches in this last game for 26 yards.
They just they're trying to just get him in space, right? Give him the ball and let him create, and it's just
Trying to send him downfield.
Hasn't been
Stop
effective.
sending MVS down there for a minute.
We'll be back at it tomorrow right here on Cody and Gold. Vinny Pasquantino, our NFL insider, going to join us. You'll also hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, plus Nate Taylor from The Athletic. Looking forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. Starting at 10 a.m. for now, The Drive with CDOT coming up next here on 610.